I'm Kyle.
And I'm Trevor. And today, Kyle is going to be catching up on cinema.
Yes.
So, today, for my movie selection, I selected the film Deep Rising from 1998, directed by Stephen Sommers, and written by the way.
So I wanted to, before we get going on this, I was taking the light rail from Cap Hill Station to UW.
Okay.
And it was about 2 minutes before the train was going to get there, and I'm sitting there, and as people in most cities have, you have somebody that comes up and asks you, like, hey, somebody's doing some bad shit, can you sign this for some reason?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to stop it. It happens all the time. But
Absolutely.
a very young girl, we're going to UW, so I'm sure she's a student. She's like 20, 21. And she's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, thank you, not right now. And I was thinking, like, why did she pick me? I mean, because there's certain people I'm sure that they go to pick, and she went up to me, and she's probably like, oh, this nerd will sign it.
Yeah. This guy looks like a sucker.
This nerd. I'm like, I'm not a nerd. I'm going to my friend's house to do a podcast on Deep Rising. Yeah, he's got every gaming console possible, and I want to get an Archer tattoo, but I'm not a nerd. The audacity of her to profile me like that.
Yeah, profile you as a nerd.
I seriously thought, I'm not a nerd.
I'm not a nerd.
I'm going to go do a podcast.
I have a friend who has lots of video games.
I'm doing a podcast on Deep Rising. I'm not a nerd. Well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So, to continue the introduction, Kyle.
Yes.
How do you feel about sea monsters?
You know, I actually, I find them a lot of fun in movies. I will defend the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How many of those have you seen?
I've seen 4 of them, sir.
Okay, well, that's why you watched the 4th one.
There are 5 now, by the way.
I think they're a lot of fun, and I think the second one they introduced the Kraken, which was a pretty cool element.
Well, what you saw of it.
What you saw of it.
Shit.
That's I like that aspect of it, and I didn't really know what to expect with this one. It didn't really make sense at first. Because of, we'll just say the toilet death scene. I'm like, what the fuck is happening on this boat?
See, that's the sign you saw the movie in the right way.
Yes.
Yes, there is a toilet death scene in this movie.
Jesus.
One of the better ones in cinema history.
Real quick, Rumble in the Bronx. There is half of a building taken off while a woman is going to the restroom. Yeah. What is it?
Oh, you need some background? You need context. So the plot of Rumble in the Bronx is Jackie Chan is in town for his uncle's wedding. Oh gosh. And his uncle owns a grocery store supposedly in the Bronx.
Yes.
It's Vancouver.
Yeah.
BC, by the way.
BC.
Anyway, Kyung, Jackie Chan's character, starts working at the grocery, and the lady who is taking over as the day manager for the uncle while he's on his honeymoon.
Yeah.
She's on the toilet.
Gotcha.
And this takes place late in the movie. So Jackie Chan has gotten into it with some local street toughs,
as he is one to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of I don't want any trouble, and I don't think there's a ladder fight in that one. But anyway, long story short, Jackie Chan runs afoul of some street toughs, and in retaliation, they hook up some chains to the support beams in the grocery store, and they hook it to their trucks, and they tear out the support beams, and the entire building collapses while she's on the toilet.
She is livid, but yeah.
Oh yeah, she's hitting him. She's slapping Jackie Chan. She's trying to get her pants up, but it's just not happening.
It's not happening.
But yeah, Deep Rising. To preface things, is a monster movie.
Can I describe it at what I have in my notes real quick? Godzilla meets Under Siege.
Oh really?
That's what I was as I was watching it.
I wrote Aliens meets Die Hard.
Wow. Jeez. Okay, let's go ahead.
So it's something meets something, but apparently 4 very different things.
No, I actually, before you get into the plot, I'm looking at my notes that I took, and I took quite a few because I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm glad to hear that, man.
So much fun.
I'm very glad to hear that.
I should let you know, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, yeah, I watched this on what was my Friday night. And I had a nice tall La Fin du Monde beer. So I'm like,
thanks for explaining that.
I have a lot of exclamation points and a lot of I could see very rapid writing because I was trying to enjoy the movie. But,
wow, I'm glad you enjoyed it, sir.
Yes.
I mean, mean, for those of you who aren't following our podcast, how dare you?
Yeah.
We had a spirited discussion about the 99 Mummy
Yes.
and the 2017 Mummy. As it so happens, The Mummy 99 was directed by Stephen Sommers as well. So they share a common director. And clearly, you very much enjoyed The Mummy.
Yes.
This movie directly preceded that.
The 99 Mummy.
99 Mummy.
99 Mummy.
Not 2017, 99
No.
Mummy. So Kyle was the one to propose the idea of talking about The Mummy, and a big reason for that is that we both have a genuine appreciation for that film. And part of what brought this one to mind is, A, Kyle's never seen it.
No.
And B, Kyle liked The Mummy, which, as far as I know, Deep Rising is what got Stephen Sommers the Mummy gig, because Deep Rising came out only a year before. So the reason I picked this movie, largely, though, is I have a fascination with aquatic monster movies. I know that's a very specific subgenre,
very much, yes.
But you need to understand, Jaws was basically on repeat in my house growing up. It was one of those fatherly bonding movies for me. That and Rocky was basically how I would get my dad to talk to me.
Well, I can understand why like you said, water monster movies or some kind of. So I completely understand that. I know you hate it. So Trevor is a huge Godzilla fan.
Absolutely.
I have only seen the 2 American ones.
Shame.
Yeah, he's not happy.
Shame. Finger shame.
But with those movies, the most exciting part, I think the really exciting parts of that first Godzilla movie is him coming to the city, essentially.
By first, he means the 98 Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie, not the 1954 original.
The only fun parts of the movie are when it hits the Japanese vessel, and then when it's coming to New York City. After that, it's just absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's basically as soon as you see him.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Gamera, actually, you had me watch. How do you pronounce it? It's Gamera. Gamera. You had me watch that.
There's a very specific reason for that too.
The build-up. The build-up is a lot of fun. It's
Absolutely.
It's not a water monster movie, but it is a monster movie, and the build-up is a lot of fun. So I can see watching this movie immediately why. Okay, I see a common theme here.
That's part of what the best charm of aquatic monster movies for me is that especially back in the day when Jaws really hit it big, you got tons of imitators. You got Tentacles, you got Orca, you got all these shitty drive-in movies that didn't have any of the ambition or the quality of filmmaking that Jaws had, because that's a brilliant film.
Yeah.
But part of the charm of a sea monster movie is that you have the entire ocean to hide your monster.
Correct.
And as a low-budget filmmaker, that's a godsend.
Yeah.
It's oh shit, we can make this movie without having to show the monster for 90% of it.
We need CO2 tanks.
Or not, if we can't afford CO2 tanks, then let's get, some Teamsters to hop in a pool and
splash
just
around.
Just splash, and then we'll just film the bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you're going to pick a shitty monster movie to watch, usually the ones that happen in the ocean, if they're cheap, they're some of the worst, but there's just a charm to it that I really love. Plus, I think the ocean is just kind of a scary place. Yes,
it is. It's terrifying.
And
tell that to my marine biologist girlfriend.
So you study that really scary place, huh?
Let's go scuba diving. You're fucking high. Getting in there.
No, but Deep Rising to me is kind of an outlier in terms of this particular subgenre, because it's a fairly high budget action horror movie. Well, not screamingly high budget, but when you look at when you look at the type of special effects they used in this film, they got fucking Jerry Goldsmith to do the music. He's if you want to play a fucking ace, he is the ace to play.
I'd say these are B effects for a 98 movie. I mean, they're good.
They're good. They're not good. They're not amazing, but they're good. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad. For the time, they're not bad.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have a stacked cast of notables.
Character actors out the ass.
I mean, none of these guys are guys that,
I knew every single person.
Oh, yeah.
Every single person.
If you don't know their name, you know their face.
I'll get to it, but the one that popped out to me first. Oh my gosh, I yelled it out loud.
Oh yeah, no,
in my room.
No, I'm looking at your notepad right now, and yes, I
heard him say 2 fucking words, and I'm like,
I want to.
Can we wait?
I wanted to say.
Okay, so you can pretty much. I'm not trying to rush you here. Go right back to what you were saying, but honestly, you could wrap up the whole plot in you could do it in 30 seconds. I could time you less than 30 seconds. You could do it in 15 seconds. Probably.
Well, there's a reason I preface things by saying Aliens meets Die Hard. It's basically those 2 movies. So let's get to the plot. Because we've had plenty of setup already. Yes. So, and I'll just do a quick summary.
Just do a quick summary. Because we can go through this whole thing.
So the bulk of this movie takes place on a cruise ship.
Yes.
It's a very fancy cruise ship with a vaguely Asian theme to it.
I'm glad you said vaguely Asian. Because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, this is vaguely Asian.
Yeah, we've got Samoan stuff. We've got Fijian stuff. We've got taiko drummers. We've got lion dancers. I saw a lady wearing a Korean dress.
I actually am. When I was watching this, I felt because of your Japanese heritage, I was under the assumption that Deep Rising, and because of the other movies you had me borrow, this was Japanese, somehow connected to somehow Japanese. So when we're introduced to the South Korean actress in this movie, I was gonna text him. I'm like, ooh, the Japanese lady here is just lovely.
I'm glad you didn't text me.
And I'm like, as soon as I started texting, I'm like, I better check on this before.
Somebody explicitly points out her Koreanness at some point. It's actually kind of a fun line. But so yeah, we have a cruise ship. It's on its maiden voyage. Parallel to that, we have a boat rushing off into the darkness in a stormy weather, headed up by Treat Williams.
This is my first Treat Williams movie, by the way. Oh, and what a treat.
Wow, you popped your cherry.
What a treat.
And on board his vessel are a cast of hooligans, once again, all played by notable names and faces, who we'll get to at some point.
If you've seen a movie, you know every one of these
actors. Yes, absolutely. If you were alive in the 90s, you
know
these fucking
every
people.
Single person.
So Treat Williams is taking these passengers, who all are armed to the teeth, by the way.
To the teeth.
Yeah, to this cruise ship. At first, we don't know why. Sure enough, they get to the cruise ship, and by the time they get there, oh my god, everyone's gone.
It's been ghost shipped.
It has been
minus
the wire, though.
Yes, minus the wire.
The one good scene in that movie.
There's a couple. That we might debate that one day.
We'll get to that.
But there's a lot of new metal in that, though.
Yeah. Early 2000s.
Yeah,
fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway. So they get aboard the cruise ship. Turns out they're there for a heist.
Mm-hmm.
And then turns out there's sea monsters on board. And, merry mishaps ensue. Big explosion at the end. Roll credits. So, Treat Williams.
I've heard of Treat Williams. There was it Red Heat or Dead Heat? Was that another movie?
Dead Heat. It's on the shelf.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of Treat Williams before. I really like him.
Treat Williams he's like the cool uncle.
He's like I'm telling you, he is the nicest guy. He's the nice dad. He's the one that legit would give a co-ed a ride home and no funny business.
Yeah, no, he's like a perfect gentleman, but he has that. I don't know. He has that knowing smile, and he doesn't swear a whole lot.
No, he does not. He does not swear. He's kind of I imagine Wally Cleaver to grow up to be.
Yeah, no, he's like a clean cut fella.
Yeah,
he's not scared to throw down if he has to, but he doesn't drop the F-bomb if he can help it. He's always nice around the ladies. He knows his place.
Yeah,
he's perfect gentleman. But yeah, I think of him as the cool uncle.
So yes, he is. However, on the opening scene, as I was watching him, he is a fucking dick.
Yes, he is. To
Layla.
To his coworkers, essentially.
I'm watching this shit. I'm watching this boat go, I don't know how many knots. It's going pretty fast. And it's in a storm. It looks like there's some rain going on.
Yeah.
He's hauling ass on this thing. And Layla, the South Korean actress, is up on there. This thing is, boom,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Boom, boom. She has no life jacket on. This lady's dead. Like, I'm telling you right now, there is no way she's staying on that boat.
Yeah.
And she's screaming at him like, you fucking asshole.
By the way, he's playing solitaire while this is
he's totally
he's playing solitaire on his like
So
90s CRT monitor.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say real quick, I was very taken aback by this South Korean actress. She was very lovely. I'd never seen her in anything before.
I can't place her either, but yeah, she speaks the Queen's English.
Yes, she does.
Quite well, I might add.
Yes.
Like, very lovely accent.
Yes, I was very much.
Kind of surprised that old Benny was hooked up with that.
No,
I looked up his name. Is that Kevin J. O'Connor?
Yes.
Okay, so Benny from The Mummy.
There are two O'Connors in this movie.
O'Connor? What?
Wait till we get to Derek O'Connor. We'll save that.
Okay. But yeah, Benny.
Yes, Benny.
Of The Mummy fame.
Benny. That was Bobcat. That's almost like a Bobcat.
I think that's actually part of the inspiration for his performance, especially in this movie. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. This is octopus monsters.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so that is a holdover, I guess. So, as far as I can tell, Stephen Sommers is buddy-buddy with this Kevin J. O'Connor fella and Brendan Fraser. Because Kevin J. O'Connor, again, most notably known for playing Benny in the 99 Mummy. And Brendan Fraser has a small appearance in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Does he really? I thought you were going to say The Mummy. I'm like, no, he's the main character.
No, you dipshit. He owns that franchise.
I don't think I'd seen him in anything since, like, Bedazzled.
He has a small role. He just plays, like, stereotypical military tough.
Really?
If he was a named character, I think it may have been Hawk from G.I. Joe. Like, he was playing an actual character, but his role is very small.
I'm not going to watch that movie, but I might just watch his scene if I can.
Anyway, it's apparent that Stephen Sommers is at least friendly with these two. And he was nice enough to put Kevin J. O'Connor in both Deep Rising and The Mummy. In very prominent roles, in fact. And, he plays Joey, or Tucci, I think is the other. Zertucci or something?
There's a Tucci.
There's two names for this character. Joey is his first name.
Joey. Let's call him Joey.
And sometimes Treat Williams calls him Tucci, which makes me think of Stanley Tucci, which makes me wish he was there, because I always liked me some Stanley Tucci. But Joey is the ship's mechanic, and his role is basically that of the perpetually nervous and weaselly, just down on his luck, greasy-haired fella that works in the machine shop and somehow has this super hot Korean girlfriend.
He looks like he's about to start filming a documentary at any point. That's what
he's got the cap. He's got the 90s cap. He looks like he should be hanging out with Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, he literally does. Like, he's about to, like, talk. He's, like, just walking away from them as their scene's about to start in one of those movies.
He's basically supposed to be the comic relief, although the script in this movie kind of caters to everyone at being somewhat comic relief. It's a very tongue-in-cheek movie. He just happens to be the character who's consistently comedic.
Yes.
Sometimes he's a little annoying.
As he is in The Mummy as well.
I thought he fared better in The Mummy than this one.
Yes,
but
very much.
He never knocks things off kilter too much, as far as I know. But yeah, he and Layla.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know how he.
Lucky. Fuck.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah,
so that's light years out of his league.
Those are the three, like, lighter side of gray characters that we have, of which there are many, and then we get the darker characters,
the mercenaries,
the mercs,
the assholes
that are hitching a ride with Treat Williams. Though his business policy is basically we ask no questions. So he's taking them on a ride, and he doesn't know where. He's like, and he doesn't know what they have with them.
He's the transporter, except on a boat. It seems like that's essentially what he does. He's like, I don't ask any questions. Put it in the fucking trunk. Hopefully, it's not a Russian whatever.
Hence the reason they're driving off into the darkness in a horrible storm, and he's doing it anyway.
With the 8 biggest assholes ever to live.
Essentially,
seriously.
I mean, these guys are like a facsimile of the Marines from Aliens.
Yes,
though they're meant to be slightly more antagonistic, I guess.
Very much.
Because, I mean, Ripley didn't exactly get along with all those people, like, early on especially.
Early on.
But these guys never quite become nice.
No.
They're mostly jerks, they're lovable jerks.
They're absolute assholes.
Yeah, so we want to, like, to get to everyone? Because just the sheer number of familiar faces just makes me like.
Yeah, this
just makes me like vibrate with happiness. It's just like, oh my god, I know all these guys.
The main character is the one. Treat Williams is the one I don't know of all these people.
Yeah.
The one that as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hate him in this movie. Yeah. Anthony Held.
Well, he comes later.
Yes,
he comes later. We'll get to him.
But he was very top of my list. Like they show him in the cruise, but Doctor, what's his name in
I forget his character's name in Silence of the Lambs. Well, that entire franchise.
Dr. Shelton.
There you go.
Something like that.
So the administrator in Silence of the Lambs of the facility that Hannibal Lecter is housed at is played by Anthony Heald, who is in this movie as the owner of the cruise ship, the Argonautica.
I liked him on Boston Public. I don't know if you watched that show.
I did. Chai McBride walking around just terrorizing everyone.
Jesus,
that's great.
He's
just in the sourest of moods in every episode of that show.
See, he was really fun. I thought Anthony Held he could be serious, but he was actually really funny on that show. Which is why when I saw him in here, I'm like, oh, he might actually be funny.
He's a good actor.
He's very good.
I always it's funny because just from a purely aesthetic standpoint,
such a twat. Immediately you're like, he's a twat.
He looks like Nick Nolte's little brother or something.
Or his little cousin that he picks on all the time. He's
the guy. He's the one that has the Sega that Nick Nolte won't let him play with. He just comes over like, get out of my way.
So I know that the very first character that we're of this mercenary team, we'll call him the mercenary team.
So imagine you're walking to a room of all these mercenaries. Imagine you're Kyle. Where does your eye go? Like you're looking across an entire ocean of faces, and you just laser in on one of them.
First I saw the guy from Street Fighter. I can't think of his name.
Wes Studi.
He
played Sagat.
And then Jimon Hansu.
Digimon. I think it's Jaimin Hanso from Blood Diamond and Guardians of the Galaxy, and apparently now he's in that Captain Marvel movie, so he's still relevant, man.
He's in that terrible Never Back Down movie.
He's the trainer. That's
that movie
right.
Sucks so much.
It really does. It's hideous to look at
awful.
too.
I hate everything about that movie. So I recognize him, and then I just hear the voice, and this should tell you how many times I've seen Mortal Kombat. He's like, oh no. All over there, I immediately. That's fucking Kano. That's the dude who I don't even know his name. He's the dude who played Kano in Mortal Kombat.
Yes, he's Australia bottled, basically.
Seriously,
the line I always think of is ear to ear.
Yeah. I just think of, hello, baby. Because he almost sounds kind of British when he says that.
Well, I think of him selling me wet mops. Because he used to do commercials.
I could just hear him bad-mouthing the fucking New Zealand rugby team at a bar or something.
Oh,
these fucking Kangaroos don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Little fuckers, big fuckers.
Big fuckers, little fuckers, no little fuckers. So I think that he looks like Colin Farrell and Russell Crowe had a kid. If you just mash those two together, and you get that guy.
I could see that. Yeah.
I wrote Kano, and then
with 3 exclamation points
because I was so excited. But actually, the character actors in this mercenary team just come at you so fast. I just wrote big cast.
Big cast.
A New Zealander. He's
Cliff Curtis.
Yes, Cliff Curtis.
Excellent actor. He's riding a wave right now. He's on that Fear the Walking Dead.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like the main character.
No shit. He's played a lot of different nationalities, ethnicities.
It's because he has that look to him. He plays it to his advantage. It's funny enough, another aquatic monster movie. Well, not technically, but it takes place on a boat. I think he was also in Virus.
Oh, really?
As a Maori character.
I get Relic, Virus, and Mimic all mixed up.
All those movies that don't have a "the" in front of them.
Relic, Virus, and Mimic.
Funny enough, I actually kind of like all 3 of those. The Relic I know is not great.
Yeah, that one kind of...
Virus isn't either, but clever concept and really unique makake effects. Well, stuff you don't see very often. Metallic monsters are not something you see in movies too often.
Those might be next. I might just be having to go through these 90s sci-fi horror movies.
Yeah, maybe get to it sometime. But Cliff Curtis is in there in a very small role. He's the one that has the line about our Layla's ethnicity. I never done Korea. Cliff Curtis's only contribution in terms of characterization in this film is just he wants to sleep with a woman from every country in the world.
Yeah.
That's all we get for him. and his beautiful accent. That's about it.
Yes, you can tell that these guys are one ex-military.
One more.
Go ahead.
There's a Brit in there. I don't know his name, but he plays Mr. Hyde. He plays Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that.
If you've seen,
I'm sorry, I caused an aneurysm just now.
See, if you'd seen any Guy Ritchie movie, you'd know that it's Jason Fleming. He's in He's in every Guy Ritchie or what looks like a Guy Ritchie movie.
He seems like a talented actor. I just haven't seen him in much, so I just know him for his shitty roles.
Actually, because of what we're doing this podcast, I have a running list of movies, and I think I know what your next one is. So,
yeah, great! I love to hear that.
It definitely has him in it.
But yeah, so we have a colorful cast of characters here. They're all exchanging banter and stuff, and as it so happens, they have some Frankenstein guns. I'll call them that because they're very clearly fake. They're manufactured from some sort of machine pistol, but with a lot of just parts slapped on there, like a rotating multi-barreled attachment.
If a revolver was a shotgun, was a machine gun. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. If a revolver was a machine gun, but you held it like a shotgun, that's what this is.
I don't know the name of the gun, but I know the shape of the magazine. It's this weird drum that looks kind of like a flashlight that drops in from the top. So I know that was the foundation for it. But yeah, it has some sort of electronic, like 6-barreled attachment to the front of it.
Yeah.
Every fucking optic you can imagine, plus a flashlight, because, why not?
Yeah.
And like a mag well for like an MP5 and some sort of buttstock that doesn't belong there. It's a Frankenstein gun.
It's a Frankenstein gun.
But every one of them has one, and yeah, it's pretty spectacular. It's I'm guessing supposed to be reminiscent of the pulse rifles from Aliens.
It reminded me of Doom for some reason.
Yeah, it has Doom had the chain gun. Yeah. It may as well be the chain gun. But in addition to all these assault rifle type weapons, these fellas are packing torpedoes.
Cool. Are they torpedoes or nukes?
Torpedoes.
It is torpedoes.
They're not nukes. They're torpedoes. And Treat Williams, Joey. Yes. I'm just gonna call him Benny. It's so much easier to just call him fucking Benny. Benny stumbles across the torpedoes.
He doesn't stumble across the torpedoes.
He like unlocks the case.
He's doing the exact same thing. He's doing the exact same thing in The Mummy. He's rummaging through rummaging through people's stuff because
he's a Weasley motherfucker.
Yeah, because he makes like a little noise, and Brendan Fraser's like, "Oh, I know that motherfucker." I know that immediately, and he's just like, "Yeah, that's him," because he's rummaging through people's stuff. Yeah.
Guess who's on the wrong side of the river?
God, I'm gonna rewatch that movie within the next 30 days.
But yeah, so Benny discovers that these guys are packing torpedoes, and they still don't know why. And Treat Williams takes offense to this, especially since all these colorful cast of pirates or mercenaries or whatever you want to call them, they're beating the shit out of Benny. Very diverse
movie.
Yes,
by the way.
They're very. These people are all comfortable with each other. This is like a microcosm of how the world should be.
Not just the mercenary team, but like the cast itself is very well rounded. I would say. Yeah, like, as far as diversity goes. For 1998, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a very diverse cast. We got a wide range of ethnicities and some gender, but not so much.
We'll get to Famke.
Enough.
We'll get to Famke. Yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, so Benny is getting his shit kicked out of him. Treat Williams takes this opportunity to whip out his dick onto the deck just to show everyone, yep.
This is my boat.
Nickname's Tripod. How you doing?
I know you got guns, but I have a leather jacket.
I have a leather jacket and a sensibly sized motorcycle back home.
Nothing overnight. Yeah. A to B,
It's like I bring it out in the summer, but never any other time. The rest of the year it's in the garage. So yeah, they have a little scuffle, and Treat Williams shows that he's a tough guy. He can stand his ground. And I think he earns a little bit of brownie points with Wes Studi at this point. Wes Studi plays the leader of this band of mercenaries. Yeah. The iconic Wes Studi, the stone-faced Native American Wes Studi.
Very much.
Super badass in this movie.
He was so stone-faced it was distracting to me because I'm like, he almost has there's this, like we discussed on like The Counselor, the Wire Man. He just very much has there's nothing behind his eyes, but Studi is literally stone. Like, he doesn't even look human. Actually.
I love Wes Studi. Like he doesn't even have to try. He just looks awesome.
Yeah, he does.
And there's so many scenes in this movie where it's like, the script is really cheesy and like everything about the production is very corny. But like you see him and you're just like, I believe it. It's like, I believe it. I believe he will put a bullet in that man's face.
Oh shit! I think it's real.
It's like, the monsters in the movie were CGI, but I don't think Wes Studi knew that.
I don't think he knew that.
It's like, I'm pretty sure when he shot Benny in the leg, it was because he genuinely thought there was a monster octopus chasing them.
Yeah. Jeez.
But yeah, so this leads us to the cruise ship.
Yes.
And before our merry band of mercenaries get to the cruise ship, we get some scenes of the cruise ship just being a cruise ship,
being vaguely Asian. Yes.
Yeah. The entertainment on this cruise ship, like I said, is a little confused in terms of its theme.
So I'm definitely getting the drums. I've got the drumming.
That would be from Japan.
And
there's some fire spinners. They're from somewhere in the South Pacific.
The circle, the circle coin with the square in the middle. What is that?
Like a gong, you mean?
No. No, I remember seeing it. I think it was on Ocean's 13. It might be a coin or something. I don't know. It's a circle with a.
You lost me, bud.
It looks like that basically, with art around it. I'm drawing a picture.
I mean, that could be.
I don't know if it's a
That could be Chinese or Japanese currency.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a specific country's currency.
No, the point is the entertainment, despite the ship being called the Argonautica,
I don't.
As in the Argo from Greek mythology, which has nothing to do with Asia.
No.
All the entertainment though is Asian themed, and most of the patrons are Asian as well.
Yes.
So we get introduced to Anthony Heald.
Yes.
And he somehow stops everything on this ship, on this like bustling cruise ship filled with hundreds of passengers and all this noise. He just like tinks a glass.
There's 50 people in this room though. Like, this is a cruise ship, but where this is being shot, there's 50 people.
It wasn't
in this
a
room.
very high budget film, Kyle. Jesus.
I know, that's why he was able to.
Hey, this had better crowd scenes than Mummy 2017. Give me that. Come on. I mean, they had a room full of extras. Mm-hmm. They were pretending to have fun.
Correct. Yes.
But yeah, he like tinks a glass, and everything in this room just stops.
They didn't have Rush Hour 2 money. You're absolutely right. They did have
Rush Hour 3 money though.
I think I have Rush Hour 3 money.
Oh yeah. Let me dig around my pocket here.
Bam! I got you, Chris Tucker.
I got you. Tucker.
I got you. There's your Jackie Chan.
But yeah, so he gives a roaring speech about Argonautica and like, welcome to my beautiful cruise ship. And then very shortly thereafter, something comes up from the depths. But before that, we get introduced to a lady in red.
Yes. So I actually had to double check. This came out 3 years. This came out 3 years after GoldenEye.
Yes, it did.
I think is where I was first introduced to Famke Janssen and what's
X-Men's?
It might have been X-Men's or it might have been I Spy with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I remember her in that. But I remember her. I just watched GoldenEye in the last few months.
Okay.
I think it was your recommendation to watch GoldenEye.
It's an important film for people in our age range.
Yeah. She's very attractive in there. She is hot. I think she's hotter here. I think she's so fine in here.
Oh, she has a lovely smile.
She's just beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, there's that one part where like he compliments her on her casual wear, and she's like, "Thanks."
She's kind of got like a Gal Gadot. Like,
yeah, she's thanks. And it's like,
so pretty.
Treat Williams is just on the set going.
He's playing it cool.
There's a reason Benny wasn't in the frame for most of that.
He's playing it cool. I think that Treat Williams is playing this.
Oh yeah, he's doing the Chris Farley. You know where the weight room is. I'll check it out. But yeah, Famke Janssen,
so
Dutch madam. She is weaving through the crowd during the celebration.
She's catwomaning through.
Yeah, she is very much catwomaning her way through. It turns out she's essentially a cat burglar.
Yes.
She bumps into our ship's captain.
Okay,
who is played by a gentleman who you would recognize.
Yes.
I know you would.
Derek O'Connor is
the other O'Connor.
So, when I found out, I'm like, he looked kind of familiar, and what my mind was trying to tell me was
who is that?
I'm like, he kind of looks like...
How do I know him?
He kind of looks like my favorite Lethal Weapon villain.
Maybe.
From Lethal Weapon 2.
Huh.
Holy shit, it's fucking...
Maybe he's from South Africa.
He is from South Africa.
Are you Martin Riggs?
Oh my god, he's him kicking his ass at the end of that movie. Him just
doing his crazy South African kickboxing.
He's just doing kickboxing and just kicking the shit.
The weird bunker dunk music is from bunker dunk.
See, he looks like a goddamn beetle. He's got like a Beatles haircut in that movie, and then he just starts kicking the shit out of.
He's got an Aryan Beatles haircut.
The strongest man that's ever lived, Mel Gibson. Apparently.
Well, Mel Gibson's hard to put down. He's got that martyr complex.
Well, you try.
He wants you to beat him up.
Torture me. See what.
He's like, you got to get me half dead before I can start fighting back.
Torture me. See what happens.
But yeah, the ship captain is the villain from Lethal Weapon 2.
Side note, because his name popped up when I looked this guy up, Joss Ackland from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Lethal Weapon 2, because he was in Lethal Weapon 2 with him. Yes. Not dead. He is
not dead.
He is 90 years old. I couldn't believe it. I was like, because he was old as shit in Lethal Weapon 2.
That deserves an opera clap.
Think about what Mel Gibson looks like right now. He looks like a crazy old man. And remember how young he looked in that second Lethal Weapon? Joss Ackland looked like his grandfather.
No, he looked like the fucking owl, the great owl from The Secret of Nim or something. Diplomatic immunity.
But on a side note, Derek O'Connor actually passed away this year.
Oh, yeah, that makes me sad.
Yeah, that makes me sad. God, he was so good at Lethal Weapon.
Martin Riggs?
Martin Riggs? I think I might have to rewatch that.
Riggs? Are you Martin Riggs?
I think I might have to rewatch that one.
Oh, wait.
It's been a long time.
It's a great ass movie.
I've seen that one the least, and that's what's shocking.
So, I mean, that should tell you, like, what the ship's in store for. The fucking captain is a, like, trafficker from South Africa.
I'll argue the best Lethal Weapon villain. I'm going to argue that.
That's a tough argument. I don't know. Mr. Joshua is pretty good.
He's good, but he's not even the main villain.
He's not. Well, neither is...
That's true.
In terms of history with the characters, though, he does have history with Riggs, which supersedes the diplomatic immunity.
I think that's why...
That guy's the mastermind, but he's the one with the personal stake in things.
And I think for Riggs, that's the biggest thing. That's what makes him such a good villain in that movie.
Yeah, knocking on heaven's door.
Because he's just like, oh yeah, we found the wreckage. Your wife. I'm like, oh. Fucking shit, dude. And he's about to kill you, too.
Like, oh, can't wait till the end of this movie.
You don't know if he can pop his arm out of his socket.
It's like, oh, you didn't know that.
You didn't know
that. Don't put a knife in his leg. You're just going to make him mad.
That him screaming with... Okay, we got to stop talking about
Lethal Weapon. We're talking about a different movie.
Back to Lethal Weapon 2.
So Famke bumps into the ship's captain, jacks his security card, and heads off to the vault, which she enters and tries to steal a necklace, but... Before she can get away with the purloined necklace, Anthony Heald and the captain both catch her in the act and throw her into quote-unquote the brig, which I'm sure brought to mind a very particular film, and I think that which we're both very fond of.
I think that my shorthand plot summary of this, Godzilla Meets Under Siege, came directly from this scene. Yes. Because right underneath it, I forgot I wrote this.
There's a particular quote that comes to mind.
But I wrote it down, and I'm going to do it in my best Seagal voice.
Absolutely.
Hey, Corporal, get my Famke out of the oven. I'm sorry. Get my Famke out of the pantry.
Get my pies out of the oven.
Get my pies out of the oven.
So yeah, I was half expecting her to hit the intercom inside the refrigerator.
I like her style, by the way. She just goes straight for the bubbly, and it's probably expensive stuff.
Oh yeah,
too.
No, she's hitting the hors d'oeuvres and the bubbly.
She's having fun. I'm like, that's
So the ship doesn't really have a brig per se, so they throw her in the refrigerator basically for food storage.
They should have a brig.
They should. It's a very big cruise ship, very expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah. She becomes Steven Seagal in that moment.
Yes, she does.
Essentially a shitstorm is coming up from the ocean, and where do you put your future hero? Into the food storage.
Yes.
Just like Steven Seagal. So, speaking of shit show coming up from the depths.
Yes.
The opening of this movie is actually a text crawl.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Yes. Basically, I forget the words verbatim, but... It's just a few lines of text saying in the South China Sea, which I believe is where the Mariana Trench is, or at least a trench of note.
Yes.
The depths of the ocean go deeper than any mountains up on the surface. Mm-hmm. Ships go missing all the time, and there's no explanation why.
They do mention there's a type, the species or whatever type of.
I think that comes later.
That comes later.
That comes courtesy Anthony Heald.
Okay, I thought that came with a little.
No, I don't think there's any mention of the nature or the species that's the culprit later in the film. But anyway, just so happens our story takes place in the South China Sea, and sure enough, there's a scene like early on, actually one of the first shots, if not the first shot of the film, is underwater footage of something like through a fisheye lens of something exploring what looks like a whale graveyard underwater.
Did this come out the same year as Deep Blue Sea? Because Deep Blue Sea has the advanced the shark vision. It has shark vision.
Yeah, it has the POV shots. I think Deep Blue Sea came out around the same time, probably a little later.
It came out a year later.
Yeah. Another favorite of mine, consequently. But yeah, Famke goes out to the deck at one point. She goes outside, and we hear some weird noises. No real explanation as to what it is, but we can, through editing, it's inferred that whatever was underwater and we are seeing the POV of is what's making the noises.
Yes.
Sure enough, it decides to come up, and we get a
toilet death.
We get a lovely countdown sequence. I love a good countdown. Of a gentleman sitting in front of a computer console, not really wanting to do anything. He's just kind of like strapped to his seat, and he's just like reading whatever data is happening in front of him. And we see that some sort of mysterious stranger has shut down the ship. They lose all power while Famke's in the refrigerator, by the way. And this gentleman is pointing out to the viewer and everyone in the control room that something big is coming up from the depths.
Yes.
And he starts counting off how many meters away it is, and we get a 10-20 second countdown of him just yelling out numbers while nobody does anything.
I had written down as soon as I saw him, I'm like, Anthony Heald is the inside man, like 100%.
Yeah, there's no mystery here, and I was actually glad that the script doesn't make an attempt to make it a mystery.
No, it's absolutely. As soon as you see him and there's foul play, like
I know the squealers.
I know the squealers
and point.
I really wish you could get the visual of that. It's kind of an inside thing too.
Yeah. So at this point, something big, because it was the 90s and that's how you advertise a movie, you have to use the phrase something big, slams into the ship. Famke gets knocked cold. Huge crowd panic. Everybody's freaking out and getting trampled. And then we cut back to Treat Williams and the crew.
So I have my second
toilet death.
Toilet death. Yes, toilet death. She is pulled through the toilet, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's that's not possible.
I don't know, man. That's awesome. That's power.
I saw Alien Resurrection and yeah.
Poor lady goes this lady had the right idea. There's a tidal wave of human beings trampling each other. This lady ducks into a corner in the form of the restroom.
Yeah.
Sits on the toilet. The walls start vibrating. She starts screaming. Yeah, she's terrified, and something yanks her down the toilet. We don't see the result, but there is a cloud of blood that comes up and sprays the mirror.
I love it. I love the cloud of blood.
So it's understood that this woman was entirely sucked down the toilet. One of the best toilet deaths in my memory, anyway. So after this woman makes her gracious exit via the toilet,
yes,
we cut back to Treat Williams and the band of mercenaries, and they're en route to the cruise ship. We now know that that's where they're headed.
Yes.
And they are mounting one of the torpedoes to the deck of his ship.
Yes. And he's not happy about it.
Oh, no. I think he uses the phrase, "Who said you could put holes in my ship?" And Benny's not happy. Layla's certainly not happy. And then they hit a speedboat. It puts a hole in their ship, and consequently, this speedboat is very cleverly inserted into the crowd panic scene when the cruise ship is first struck by the monster.
Yes.
It falls off the ship, and because he can't see where he's going, he hits the speedboat. It puts a hole in the ship, and now we have another crisis where our band of mercenaries are trying to get to the cruise ship, but now have a damaged boat which needs repairing.
Yes. So, yes, what's happening is the Treat Williams is very much confused by why the fuck there's a speedboat just sitting in the middle.
Yeah, that wouldn't be out there.
He's like, that wouldn't be out there.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. It's because there's a goddamn monster that's pretty much ghost shipped the ship.
Yes.
I'm just going to use the term ghost ship because that's the best way to describe it.
No, the first few minutes when they get there
Uh-huh.
are essentially a ghost ship moment.
Yes.
Like, it's that trope. I mean, you're all familiar with that.
But now our mercenaries are very confused. Sorry, I'm eating a banana. I need a snack. Now our mercenaries are confused because they're like, okay, well, this was supposed to be our inside guy shut this shit down. Mm-hmm. Now what's the problem? Now
So what comes to light here is that this mercenary group had an inside man, and this was supposed to be a heist for insurance purposes, essentially.
Yes.
So basically, Anthony Heald didn't do... I think, like, Benny even calls him out on it, and he's like, you didn't do the math or something? So what happened was he dumped too much money into making the ship, and the overhead is killing him, so he's trying to get it all back via insurance.
Yeah.
By hiring some pirates to basically take over the ship, and he and all the hostages would escape. Nobody would get hurt, and everybody would get paid.
You know, if there was a theme for between the last movie and the movie that we're doing now, it's get your fucking finances in order.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that was the counselor pretty much. Was just, hey, dude, stop spending crazy amount of money on stuff that you don't need.
I mean, the cartel may as well be a giant sea slug octopus monster.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, I'm sure they have the same reach and power.
I'll take a Deep Rising death over a cartel death any day of the week.
And that's saying a lot, because when we get to the deaths in this movie, it's very important. One death in particular is very important in illustrating exactly how people die in this movie. Because we only get to see it once. But there's a reason why we only get to see it once.
Trevor knows that I like movie deaths, and I don't even know if he realized when giving this movie that it has some pretty cool shit happening. I was very excited. That wasn't even on my notes as something cool. Like, I was just like, oh, I like this. This is good. But
no, for young Trevor, that was a big selling point as well. If someone's got to die in a movie, if a lot of people got to die in your movie, and that's a selling point, you got to make sure they're all distinct. No two deaths should be the same.
Yes.
You're fucking it up if that's how you're doing it.
Speaking of which, I'm keeping a tally of how many times Deep Blue Sea took from Deep Rising, and I have 2 so far.
Okay. We'll run that down at some point.
Yes.
But yeah, so now our mercenaries are on the ship.
Yes.
And they brought Benny and Treat Williams with them because, as it so happens, that hole in the ship is a problem, and Benny's the only guy that can fix it.
Yes, so Benny has to go to the cruise ship because he has to get a certain part.
Yeah, they need to use their machine shop.
Meanwhile, his girlfriend, Layla, I have a 3 exclamation point remark on my notes. Well, one, I believe...
Kano? Again?
Every time I see Kano, it's just, Kano! So, she's cutting...
What the fuck was she doing?
Okay, so I've taken a...
You've been on the sea. Like, what the fuck was she doing?
Okay, so I took manufacturing for three years in high school, okay? So there's 3 things that you do is you do some bookwork, you do some welding, and you do some torch cutting. So, torch cutting is what she is doing, which is where you're cutting metal. You're cutting steel.
I didn't see any cutting.
No.
You're doing it wrong.
Because she's supposed to be welding.
Yes.
So she's welding with a cutting
with ocean water spilling onto the flame.
Dude, there's not even...
It's not even hot.
It's like 2 feet, from the water on a rocking ship. This thing's going down 100%. And she is using a cutting torch to quote-unquote weld. I saw that and I'm like... I'm not even... This is 98. This is 98.
I mean, I can just, picture you, posted up against the wall, just being like...
Nah. It's 2 completely different systems.
It's like you just want to push her aside and be like, Move! You're doing it wrong!
Jesus.
Yeah, so this lady is waist deep in water, applying heat to metal. I don't know for what purpose.
Trying to fix the ship.
She's trying her best.
She's kind of like Chewbacca in Empire Strikes Back, where he's just vaguely poking stuff with the welding torch.
Yeah, and it's like Han just just let him do his thing. Just let him do his thing. He'll take care of it.
He thinks he's helping. He'll rip my arms off if I criticize
He thinks he's helping. We'll be fine. I'll take care of it.
He's ripping people's arms off. But yeah, so this is where Deep Blue Sea Deep Blue Sea takes their second notch. I did not see her dying. I really took this hard.
Yeah.
I even put in my notes, I'm really not happy about that.
It was early and it was unexpected, but not satisfying.
No, and I think, like, to copy Deep Blue Sea, I wasn't expecting it, and I definitely was not expecting it in Deep Blue Sea when...
Saffron Burrows?
Yeah, when she dies in that.
Well, I didn't like her, so like, I was kind of glad.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm fine with Tom Jane and, LL Cool J being the survivors of that movie. I don't know about you, but yeah, Saffron Burrows was not exactly why I was there.
Well, there's actually 2 surprise deaths in Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. If you haven't seen it, I'll shut up.
Yeah,
but,
go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, you should go watch it. It's good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Layla makes her exit early in the film. We get a nod to Jaws in the form of a rotten corpse.
Yes.
Like rolling up on her and shocking her for a moment. It's just a little jump scare.
I got a good jump scare out of that. I wasn't expecting
it's very clearly like a nod to Jaws, I'm guessing.
Very much.
It's very explicit. But yeah, she just gets yanked out the hole via dummy. Via high-speed dummy. Yes. And we don't really get any detail as to what happened. Just something grabbed her. And there's another gentleman that's on the ship with her, who we'll come back to. His name is Billy. Especially when he's in full makeup, which again we'll get to. I think he looks like Chris Kattan.
I'll have to jog my memory. I can't remember that one now.
It's very important. You'll remember him.
But I mean, if you're following horror sci-fi movie with a monster reveal, generally I'd say like the first death is very vague. Like you have to kill somebody and kind of show what the creature's power is without actually showing the creature.
Well, that's part of what this movie does very well, and we saw this in The Mummy as well.
Yes.
Is its capabilities are spelled out to us, not in a stupid way, but it's like spoon-fed to us where we very slowly learn its capabilities and why it's a threat and how it hunts, how it does what it does.
It's a classy move.
Yeah.
It's a classy move.
In a trashy movie.
It's a classy move.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying, though. It's like the early deaths don't need to be explicit.
Yeah.
Even the lady going down the toilet, we didn't see it, but we saw the part of the result of it. We can imagine what it's like to get sucked down a fucking toilet.
It's actually odd that they went with that one first, as opposed to taking Layla first. Like, you would think it would be Layla, like, oh, okay, this thing's no joke, and then you have to assume first, seeing the woman pull from the toilet, okay, I kind of get this is a tentacle. Like, we're getting a tentacle here.
Yeah.
And then you see...
Well, something that can squeeze through a narrow tube.
So, because if you were to pull Layla first, you're like, okay, that could have been a fish. That could have been...
Could have been anything.
Could have been anything. But we have someone pulled through a toilet, I'm like, okay.
That kind of narrows down the sea life, the known sea life, to like jellyfish and octopus or squid.
Yeah. Pretty much. Or cuttlefish.
Yeah.
A giant cuttlefish.
Oh, that needs to be a movie.
That would be so
I'm
cute.
sure the Sci-Fi Channel's working on it right now.
It would be so cute. Because cuttlefish are so cute, and then you get just this giant one. Like, oh, he looks so nice. No, fuck you, dude. Those things are not nice.
Oh, no, they're vicious.
They're very very pretty, though.
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
I don't think they taste very good, though.
Delicious. What are you talking
I'm not a big cuttlefish. I love unagi. I'll fuck up some.
Okay.
I'll fuck up some.
Well,
eel.
have you ever had sakiika?
No.
It's either squid or cuttlefish jerky.
Ooh. Okay, yes.
It gives you liquid shits, but it's delicious.
And the worst breath, I do believe,
It's like shitting honey.
Oh my goodness. So
like, I'm not even kidding.
There is a sushi restaurant that I am going to be trying here before I leave Seattle again. And I can't tell Steph because she'll get super pissed because she loves sushi as well. Anyway,
we'll keep it off the air. But yeah, Layla makes her exit.
Yes.
And then we cut back to our group of explorers, our mercenaries, and they're headed towards the vault.
I wrote down my favorite quote of the movie, and it's Kano. He just really intensely turns to the go, I don't like you.
I don't like you.
I don't like you.
I don't like you.
It's just so funny because he's just so tense.
Well, they demonstrate pretty early on that he's not a terribly intelligent guy.
No,
and it's kind of funny to see someone like... So Benny eggs him on at this point. Like, Benny is basically like cracking wise, and the Aussie doesn't like it. But you can tell, like Kyle's saying, he's seething, but he just doesn't have the wit or the vocabulary to do anything about it.
He's like John Cena in. You didn't watch it yet. He's like John Cena in Trainwreck. He has a pretty funny scene. He has an exchange with a guy in a movie theater. It's very funny.
I think I've heard of this.
Yes,
I haven't experienced it, but I've heard of it.
It's pretty funny.
So yeah, our mercenaries have split up into two groups. There's Benny, Treat Williams, Ozzy, and Cliff Curtis in the machine shop.
Yes.
And the rest of the guys, so Jaimin Hanso in particular is with them. Wes Studi, Jaimin Hanso, the Brit, and they all head to the vault.
The deaths in this movie are a lot of fun because you reminded me of the other ones. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
toilet.
Jaimin Hanso gets a good one.
I was not expecting it.
Money.
Jesus.
So they open the vault, and what should happen? But Anthony Heald jumps out from wherever the fuck with a fire axe and puts it between Jaimin Hanso's eyes.
I'll let Trevor read my note real quick. Vivo, which is...
Vivo? Oh, you took down his name. Wow.
Yes.
Vivo is Jaimin Hanso's character. Holy shit!
That's
actually my I think that's the funniest part of the movie. Because you get Wes Studi saying, holy shit! No. It's the captain.
Yeah. Derek O'Connor.
Derek O'Connor says, holy shit! And then it cuts to Wes Studi going, son of a bitch! Yeah. Like back to back.
And I wrote down holy shit because... Oh, here is my note. I think Layla was welding with a cutting torch. Yep.
It's like, I think she put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, that was not right. Oh man, but yeah, I yelled "Holy shit!"
Holy shit! I think Wes Studi wins it though. The son of a bitch.
I'm gonna have to cue that up.
So yeah, immediately after that, one of the group opens fire on a group of people who are in the vault. So these people are taking refuge. And when we've been using the term ghost ship, it's important to note that these mercenaries came onto the ship expecting to have to wrangle the entire, like ship. Mm-hmm. So hundreds of people basically.
We could say I'd say Lost World is better because Ghost Ship they just find a ship and then Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. Or you could say The Lost World. Whatever. They're expecting everyone to be alive, and then everybody did.
Yeah. So what happens when we're using this expression "ghost ship"? It refers to the fact that when these mercenaries show up, the entire place is a wreck. The power's mostly out, and no one is there. They find not a single person. So them finding people in the vault comes at a big surprise.
Very big.
Very obviously, as Jaimin Hanso, who I think can handle himself.
Yes, very much.
Takes an axe between the eyes.
Was it a machete or was it an axe?
It was an axe. Fire axe. So Anthony Heald, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's about 5'5", I'd say.
He's a small guy.
He's small, but like he looks like he's kind of stocky, like surprisingly stocky for his like.
Yeah, no, he looks like
got a big old head. Like
he's got a low center of gravity.
Low center of gravity.
But yeah,
he definitely got some hit power behind him.
Oh yeah, no, he boom. This is like talk about got. So yeah, our mercenaries open fire on some randos that are just in the vault. Yeah. But the important people live. Yes, meaning Anthony Heald and our ship's captain, Derek O'Connor. And it becomes apparent that Wes Studi somehow knows Anthony Heald. And that's like 5 minutes later it's revealed that Anthony Heald was the mold. Yeah. The mole.
The mole, yeah.
So it's not a mystery.
No.
Don't pretend it's a mystery.
It was never a mystery.
So, meanwhile though, down in the machine shop.
Thank you. Oh no, yes, Benny. We're
Benny. Benny. So, I think, what is it? Ozzy wanders off on his own.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh yeah, he's totally dead.
I can't remember how he died.
It's unfortunately like kind of an uneventful death. He just kind of gets sucked into the unknown, and then what's kind of cute though, and it's really easy to miss this. It took me a few viewings to notice what happened. Mm-hmm. He gets sucked into the unknown because they're actually waist deep in the water, by the way.
Much like Deep Blue Sea. There's no
much like Deep Blue Sea.
Jesus.
So the Aussie wanders off on his own, investigates some noises like you do.
Yeah.
And he gets grabbed by something. We cut away from that, but the camera like swings across the piping that's running along the roof of the machine shop, and it's through the editing. I think what happened is he gets sucked through that tube. Mm-hmm. And his rifle actually like blows through the tube. So the thing grabbed his entire person, including what he was carrying, and the one solid object that couldn't be smashed came through the tube. So it like spit out the gun, basically. And it falls in front of Benny. Yeah, it goes...
It's like that clown in Happy Gilmore. It keeps spitting it spits the golf ball out.
I was thinking Cabin Boy.
I haven't seen Cabin Boy. Is that Chris Elliott?
Chris Elliott.
Chris
yes.
Elliott.
I think it's getting a Blu-ray release.
Is
Actually,
it
very
pretty fun?
very soon. It's fun.
I need to put that on my list.
There's some crazy shit in there. It's 90s goofball comedy. But yeah, there's like a I think he hallucinates like a donut with a face, and it spits on him, and it makes that noise. Anyway, the Aussie's gone, unfortunately, and his gun falls in front of Benny, and Cliff Curtis throws a hissy fit.
Yeah,
he's freaking the fuck out, and he gets on the radio. Wes Studi's like, "What are you doing down there?" And Cliff Curtis, before he can even get his bearings, gets snatched by the legs and gets what looks like a fun ride, actually. Yeah. Like, he gets dragged through the water, and something's got him from below the waist, and it's slamming him into all sorts of pipes. It's pretty bloody, not too graphic. And then, like you do when you're not trying to get too explicit with your violence, it just kind of sucks him under some stuff and spits out a bunch of blood water. Yeah, just... So we don't really see what happened to him either.
You just gotta know he died very quickly.
Yeah.
Very painfully.
And so Benny and Treat Williams pick up Ozzy's gun. Treat Williams just shoots everything. Yeah. Like he can't
does literally shoot everything.
He shoots everything in the machine shop. Yeah. And Benny and him take off with the parts, and they come to an elevator where Famke.
Yes, we do get to meet Famke.
And every time.
I think, okay, so this is where I have written down, so I know this happens first. So we actually get to see where I thought of Ghost Ship was where I call minute 48, cue the puke. So we haven't quite discovered what's hunting them. We don't really know quite what it is. Yeah. I don't think we've seen tentacles
we
yet.
Still haven't seen a hint of what this thing looks like.
But we are going into the ghost ship room, basically, or another note I had was Caligula death scene.
Oh, by the way, she gets out via like hair clip in a power conduit.
It's magic.
Just cat burglar shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's how she escaped.
Tricks of the trade.
Anyway, she gets to an elevator where everyone reunites.
Yes,
everybody
reunites.
Everybody in the pool.
They end up coming across basically all the dead bodies.
Most of them.
They
find all of them later.
It kind of looks like after Beatrix gets done with the Crazy 88, except with just skeletons and more blood.
So it's a very convenient hallway that has a few corpses strewn throughout it and blood all over the place.
All over the place.
But there's something interesting about these corpses. They're all skinless.
Yes.
And gooey.
Very gooey.
Very gooey.
Juicy.
And at the end of this hallway is a sealed, emergency fire door, basically.
Yes.
And we get a nice, I think it's a miniature shot of the hallway, the walls forming inward. So something very large and very powerful is basically squeezing this hallway.
At some point, before or after this, everybody's pretty freaked out at this point.
Yeah, we've all been on an elevator together. We've heard the trailer moment with the girl from Ipanema playing during the crisis moment.
I have to give them credit. So Famke is Famke Janssen. I'm not sure how to say it.
I don't know Dutch.
Janssen.
I'm sorry, Famke.
Possibly one of the most beautiful women to ever live, as far as I can see. They have her in a very seductive red dress, and they let her change. She actually changes.
She changes.
But this is how often this doesn't happen in movies, is because I'm sitting there watching this and they're having this conversation. She's kind of undressing a little bit. They're all yelling at each other. She is not a part of the conversation at all. Mm-hmm. They go back. They're still arguing. She is dressed in her new outfit. I'm like, whoa. There's no way that argument is going to keep going on.
Somebody's doing a double take or something.
Supermodel, basically.
While this is happening, somebody in the corner of their eye is seeing something.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to complete a sentence when something like that is happening in the room? It's very hard. It's like that app that plays your voice back to you and you try to speak. You sound
Yeah.
Sound like a caveman.
It's not happening. Nobody is not watching. Somebody's going to notice.
Yeah,
and she's the only woman in the room as well.
Yes.
But I had to give them credit. Like, they let her change because...
Well, they I like that they had her take off her shoes pretty much right away. That's something that, I mean, Jurassic World was like the biggest, like most mainstream example I can think of where people flip their shit about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my god, why is she still wearing her heels? That's so stupid. It's like, it's a stupid movie.
It's a stupid movie.
But when you do see them address that, it's a nice detail.
Yeah.
Like, it still stands out to me that in Totoro, which I'm not sure if you've seen it. There's just a scene where like a young girl is running across town on a dirt road, and she's wearing fucking sandals, like flip flops basically. And because she's running, she takes them off.
Yeah,
and she's carrying.
That makes sense.
Yes,
I would do that
good
too.
luck running in fucking flip flops.
Yeah.
And yeah, she takes off her heels and she actually bops Benny.
I mean,
it's a good weapon.
Yeah, it is a good weapon.
Not against the kind of monster that we later learn we're dealing with, but against Benny, sure.
I'm waiting for, like, I felt like her character was going to be way more badass. Like, because I went from, what is it, Natal? What's her character's name in GoldenEye?
Oh.
I can't think of it right. It's like
Natalia's the good one. Xenia. Onatop.
That sounds about right. 'Cause she's
on top.
She is
Xenia, yeah.
She is a badass in that movie, and I was kind of
she enjoys herself.
I was kind of expecting her to like flip a switch because I'm like, oh, maybe she's gonna be. No, she's pretty normal.
She's a burglar. She's not a violent person.
Catwoman was getting down against Bane's people in that.
That was just Anne Hathaway being, like trying to get the Oscar credit or whatever. It's like,
not for that one.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, somebody got an Oscar for one of these movies. Might as well be me.
Basically.
No, it was the greatest. Oh gosh, it was one of the greatest film depictions of all time.
Will be missed.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're all reunited in the elevator. We just got off. We're in this bulging hallway, and we have this really cute moment that I happen to like a lot. Where throughout up to this point, and in fact throughout the entire movie, Wes Studi is just kind of a dick.
He is an absolute dick.
Like he's a lovable dick, but he is hard. He is a hard man.
I honestly think that he does.
He is
not
Greek
care.
underground gay porn hard. Like to quote Goon.
I don't think he gives a fuck about anybody. I don't think he cares about his own team now. He's got.
Well, he cared when Jaimin Hanzo died.
Yeah, but now
son of a bitch.
But he was killed by a dude. Now he's like, this is not a dude doing this. So
well, yeah, dudes don't make steel walls bend.
Real shit's kicked in now.
Yeah, so he's really awful to Benny throughout the entire movie. He's at odds with Treat Williams. Whose name is Finnegan, by the way. Go fucking figure. Yeah. The most Irish fucking name possible.
Right. Well, none of Benny's jokes are really landing, so you really just have this squeaky, like this annoying guy trying to make jokes. Like, oh my god, shut up.
Well, and he's the straightest of straight men. Like if anyone's not gonna laugh and not gonna tolerate that, it's gonna be him.
Yeah.
So we have this moment though in this hallway scene where shit's obviously going bad.
Yeah.
And Treat Williams makes a move for a rifle that's dropped to the floor during the confusion, and Wes Studi actually puts his foot on it, and he gives him a look like, you better not, like you back off.
Yeah.
But then like the walls start like really moving, and Wes Studi just like gives him a nod like, hey.
Pick
and then
that
he
shit up.
kicks the gun up to him, and then they both start spraying the walls, and it's just like a cool dude moment where it's like, we got our problems, but right now
I need you to shoot.
He's like, I need you to shoot some stuff.
I have to bring it back to when we were introduced to our mercenary team of character actors.
Yeah.
And an important one that we completely missed, and I'm surprised made it this far, was the gentleman who plays Chris Tucker's cousin in Rush Hour, and he's also Pinky from Next Friday, which is the best of the Friday movies.
Okay. I know who you're talking about. His character name is Mason.
Mason.
I don't actually know the actor's name, unfortunately.
I don't know his name, but he is funny as fucking Next Friday. He is so funny in that movie. Pinky is.
Well, he was pretty good in Deep Rising. He's one of the more animated people in the background. They don't cut to him too often, but when they do, he's fun. Like he has his. I'm pretty sure during the editing process they like slip this in just like as a a consolation, I guess, because it's right before his character dies. Because of course he dies. He's the black guy.
He's the other.
He's the last black guy in the movie.
Black guy.
Jaimin Hanso was the other one. He makes his exit early. So this guy Mason is in the movie until the last third. Yeah. And right before his death scene, he gets a cute little comedic beat where they're all just standing. It's quiet. He's just like, I don't want to sound like a pussy. This shit's freaking me out.
Freaking me out. Yeah.
And then he dies.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they just slipped that in there so he could have some more lines.
Yeah.
Because, he's there. He's part of the team. In fact, I think he was the guy that shot all the people in the vault.
I think it's very possible.
I think it was him.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he had very strong reactions every time some shit would go down.
Yeah. I like him because he's very funny, but he also... I haven't seen him too much. I can't think of anything else I've seen him, but he also seems like he could be very scary. Like, he could be a very scary guy.
He's got a look to him. I mean, there's a reason why he's in the cast.
Yeah.
He was not forgotten. That much is certain. I remember his fucking character's name.
Do you remember how scary Cliff Curtis was in Training Day?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we all retreat from this blood hallway.
Yes.
And then we finally get our first reveal of the monster.
Yes.
So I mentioned there was another person on that ship with Layla. The mercenaries left someone behind named Billy, who is a skinny gentleman. I'm pretty sure there's a reason why they picked a skinny guy.
I don't know who this dude
I don't know who he is, but like I say, I think there's a reason they picked a skinny guy, because he gets some intense makeup effects put onto him. And oftentimes, like our boy Doug Jones, you want yourself a very slender fella so you can layer things on top of him without it looking awkward and bulky.
Yeah.
So we get a nice quiet moment. This would be when Famke's changing her clothes. She swaps out those heels for some sneakers, and
unbeknownst to anybody else in the room,
she gets herself a sassy Target mom outfit.
She does.
And an updo.
Those are some 90s jeans on the nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And during the confusion, she steals herself a pistol,
which she
puts in her back pocket, and then wouldn't mind being around there.
Definitely wouldn't.
And then Benny is standing in the corner by himself, and we get a very obviously green screen shot of some snot dripping onto his arm.
Oh, gross.
And he turns around, and lo and behold, there's a large CGI tentacle behind him that I think he touches it. He slaps it.
Yeah.
As he's backing away from it.
Maybe. I can't remember too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he slaps it and it recoils back into the ceiling a little bit. So this thing's hanging down from the piping in the ceiling, and they're in some sort of, I don't know, the inner workings of the cruise ship. So very industrial looking.
Let's describe the end of the tentacles.
So the end of the tentacles. So this large tentacle has an end, which is not revealed until a little later. But I'll describe it right now. So it comes to a fine point, like you would expect a tentacle to.
Yes.
But it has maybe, think like a star, like a series of fingers that close down on each other and form a point. In between all of these quote unquote fingers are little barbs or nerves of some sort, kind of think of a starfish's leg.
Yeah.
How they have those little suckers on the edge of their leg.
Yeah.
And then these barbs, or these fingers rather, they open up into what looks like two sideways hands. So think Facehugger Alien, the thing that latches onto your face. So these fingers spread out into these claw-like mandible appendages, and there are just a fuck ton of teeth in the center of that. So it's essentially a big mouth with a series of spikes. It looks kind of like a Venus flytrap almost.
I was thinking, because I watched Jumanji, the original Jumanji, not too long ago. Yeah. There's a scene where one of the floorboards comes up and this flower.
The flower.
Yeah, with the barb that shoots.
The Spitty flower, not the Edie flower.
Shoots Snaggletooth in the neck there.
Miss Dunst.
Yep. But yeah, this is all we really get for for a while.
And also, this is a few minutes later too, or a minute later rather. So going from when we see this tentacle behind Benny, he slaps it, and we get this weird shot of this bulging mass of tentacle something or other.
Yeah.
In fact, we're not even sure if it's a tentacle at this point. But then we get a very cheesy shot that I wish wasn't in there because it looks even worse nowadays. It brought to mind Anaconda. when Owen Wilson's face is embedded in this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Why are there indentations for his eyes and mouth inside the anaconda? Like, why couldn't it have just been a head bulge?
I think it's supposed to look scary because when you see
it looks stupid.
If you see like just the outline of eyes and a mouth,
but physics. Anyway, we see. I didn't even notice this the first couple times I watched this movie, like when I was young. But you see a hand imprint bulging from the inside of this thing, and then all of the people decide to open fire. The thing starts wriggling around, and then it like barfs out something.
The Kittner boy or whatever. Is that what his name was? The kid. I can't remember what the kid's name was, but yeah.
Yeah, it barfs out something, and then we get a reveal of a half-digested man that's missing half his face.
Yeah,
most of his clothes and about 80% of his skin.
John Voight gets puked out and winks at Jennifer Lopez, and then is swallowed again.
Yes, very similar to that, except much more graphic. And this scene is key to this film because it's the only pretty much on-screen death we get, and it illustrates what this thing does.
Yes, so they describe it a little bit later.
They do.
But what we can gather is it's sucking the skin off of it. There's some kind of acid or some kind of stomach acid basically eating the flesh off of it.
The point is, it doesn't bite you in half and you die and then you go into its stomach. It's digesting you on the fly.
Yeah.
All it's doing is swallowing you, really.
Swallowing you, and then you're still alive, and then it basically, I would say, like I don't know what
the phrase used is "it drinks you."
That's pretty
it's weird writing, but
it's weird, but that still makes it kind of effective at the same point. It's like, oh, it drinks.
Well, the point is, because we only get this one death, it's very important that this one illustrate to the audience. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't want to go in that thing's mouth.
No.
Like this.
I don't want to go in anything's mouth.
Well, there's a reason why Mason kills himself.
And
why Wes Studi wants to kill himself, because when you've seen that.
Wes Studi deserves to die.
He is kind of a prick.
Oh my goodness. He absolutely deserves what's coming to him. 100%.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But Billy gets barfed up onto the floor. Everybody gets to watch him squirm around for a bit. He lets out a scream and he dies in a few seconds. But the point is, this man is half digested.
Yes.
And now everybody finally knows what's killing people.
Nobody pukes, which is a huge problem I have with that.
Benny should have puked.
I would have
just like man, that whole line of people just
puking. That's how they all die. That's what that whole room was. One person fell, then everybody puked the flesh off themselves.
Yeah, Treat Williams slips and breaks his neck on the puke. But so everybody takes off in different directions.
Yes.
Like a minute later, we get the reveal of the actual head of the tentacle. So the thing that does the eating.
Yes.
We get a really neat shot that seems probably borrowed from like Jurassic Park or something, but it serves a very important purpose. So the first time we see the tip of the tentacle, it flips around a corner, it separates Famke and Treat Williams, and we see this tentacle thing ignoring him, even though it's right next to him, but keying in on a steam vent. Mm-hmm. So we learn in that instant that this thing pays attention to noise and motion.
Yes.
And he's staying very still. And so that teaches us just a little bit of how this thing hunts.
We got to learn about it.
Yeah, we need to learn the nature of the beast.
Yes.
And in that moment, we do. And then Famke comes to his rescue, blows its head off, basically, and it runs away. And then we get a brief respite before our South African captain makes his exit in a pretty brutal fashion, actually. I think it's not on camera for very long, but when you think about what just happened to him, it's pretty fucking nasty.
I don't think he is.
I think he's British.
I think he's Irish. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's from the UK.
Yeah, I would say so.
But forevermore.
Fucking O'Connor.
Yeah, forevermore though he will be South African to me.
I gotta see here real quick. I gotta double check. Yeah, but he's definitely Irish. I don't know why I looked that up.
O'Connor? Are you fucking kidding me?
Who knows, man? They've got.
They get around, man. They got boats.
I mean, some of those Aussies have Irish and British names and stuff.
Do you remember how he dies in this movie?
No, I don't. Yes, I do. He has. He's being pulled by the leg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he's on a catwalk and he takes an unfortunate step into.
Kind of gets a Michael Wincott death from Alien Resurrection because he's halved.
Kind of, but this is, I think, worse, actually. If you ask me.
It's been a while since I've seen Resurrection.
So Wincott gets pulled into a hole and then gets like eviscerated. So he gets like a tongue through the stomach, basically.
Correctamundo.
Mr. O'Connor takes a bad step. His leg goes through a hole in the catwalk, and then our tentacle beastie grabs him by the leg, by the one leg, by the way.
Yeah.
So the rest of him is still on the catwalk, and he's trying to hoist himself up. Famke and Treat grab him and try to help him up, while Anthony Heald just kind of gawks and is just like, I should do something. Nah, maybe not.
You know.
So what happens after that is, of course, these people aren't strong enough to save him.
Absolutely
and
not.
I mean, as demonstrated by the toilet death, it just yanks him. So the other leg comes up and comes up to his ear. So he gets his pelvis torn asunder.
I do not remember that death.
So yeah, he gets his pelvis just ripped.
I think this is where I was like, wait a minute, who is this?
like the last frame of his face on the screen.
God,
wait a sec.
It looks so familiar. Yeah.
It's like, now that I see him all like brutally ripped apart, I know who he is.
Yeah, I think that might have been right.
His shin goes up to his ear basically, and he gets yanked through that small hole and presumably drank. So he gets his pelvis torn in half and then he gets drank. Yes. So that's pretty awful if you ask me.
That's pretty bad.
And right after that's when we get the monologue from Anthony Heald. The Otoya family, I think. He's rambling on about like sea slugs, I think, is what they actually are. He's talking about like sea monsters and how like at this depth they're the size of a pencil. At this depth, a few thousand feet later, they eat sharks. And at this depth, do the math.
You know what's reminding me of?
What's that?
Is one of our favorite movies, Wayne's World. He's like, for a security guard, that guy had a lot of information. And it's kind of like...
Oh, yeah. Chris Farley, the well-informed security guard.
Yeah.
That's very much what it feels like. It's just like, how do you know that?
How do you know that?
Why do you know that?
Well, it has to be. Yeah.
He hates to fly.
He hates to fly. Well, yeah, there's no reason that he should know all this stuff. But
he just does.
I don't have a problem with that in movies. I'm sure that...
Well, special effects.
Yeah.
Rob Bottin did the monster effects in this film. Or at least the makeup effects. I want to say Patrick Tatopoulos designed the monster. But I couldn't find confirmation of this. I swear he did like the concept art or something. Okay. Patrick Tatopoulos... Fucking Godzilla. I mean, you know that running gag in that movie, right?
Yeah.
Nico Tatopoulos.
Yeah.
He was named after the designer.
Oh, okay.
He's a production designer. He works on...
I'm guessing he worked on Godzilla?
Yeah, he designed the Godzilla, and he works on like the biggest movies ever. I swear he designed the monster, but I know for a fact Rob Bottin was involved.
Okay.
Do you know what Rob Bottin's most known for?
I'm going to just shoot from the hip here. I'm going to say Predator.
No. That was Stan Winston. Rob Bottin, RoboCop, but before that, The Thing.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Who is the makeup? I think I know exactly who you're talking about now.
The thing I'm trying to lead you to here is this movie bears some similarities to The Thing. You can't help it. There's tentacles and monsters and gooey shit. But not only that, but Wilford Brimley's character serves a similar purpose in that scene.
Okay.
Describing to the audience, for the audience's sake, like, doing exposition. Because you have to figure a way to get it in there. And it may as well come from Wilford Brimley or, Anthony Heald, who appears to be the smartest person in the room.
When I look at, when I want to look at the makeup effects, check out the art department, I like to see, there's one guy that keeps coming up, and because of visually, I just remember, I can't remember his name, but I'm just like, I see this picture.
Tom Savini.
No, I'm sure you've seen him. He always has the black and white picture with his Oscar. He's like anytime his name comes up on IMDb, I'll text you his name later when I find it. But anytime you're like, ooh, who did the makeup effects? He was a part of it, one way or another. That might be who you're talking about. I'm not sure.
His name escapes me at the moment, but the guy who did American Werewolf in London, Rick Baker.
Rick Baker. Thank you, Rick Baker.
Rick Baker's boss.
Man. He was a part of the thing as well. I don't know if he came up with it, but he definitely...
I know Stan Winston actually was too.
I was going to say, Rick Baker was definitely a part of it.
No, Stan Winston did the dog effect.
Okay. That was pretty good.
Stan Winston's boss.
God, that movie... It's not...
That's what's neat about makeup effects, guys. There's like 5 of them. So if you learn those 5, you know all of them.
Who was the one on the Return of the Living? Oh god damn it! I watched a horror movie not too long. Oh, it was whoever did Reanimator. Whoever. I think he's a Japanese fella. He's got a
Screaming Mad George.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's exactly.
I know my shit, man.
Yeah, that's who it was. Because I'm like, man, Reanimator kind of sucks, but I'm like, I do like the makeup effects in that movie.
I just watched Return of the Living Dead, which did not have the best effects work, but the script's really good.
I actually just rewatched it not too long ago. Too.
Yeah, no, I fell in love with the script, like the concept of it. It's such a fun like farce where it's like. They keep fucking it up, and it just keeps getting worse until the end of the world. Like literally,
I can't wait to watch the.
It's like a good episode of Frasier with zombies.
I can't wait to watch the thing, but I have to wait until late November, early December to even watch it.
It's a rule. It's got to be dark and like cold out.
Yep, gotta wait.
So over the course of Anthony Heald's description of the Otoya family of animal, we basically learn the nature of the beast. We learn that it's basically some sort of giant sea slug thing that drinks you.
Yeah, drinks you.
As we saw like a minute earlier.
Yeah.
So now everybody's in panic mode, and the entire impetus for everybody doing everything, like the entire objective at this point is get off the fucking ship. Absolutely. We have no more business here.
I was actually surprised that, considering how beautiful Layla is and how fugly Benny is, that as soon as he sees this thing, why isn't it number one? We gotta get back to the boat. Like we have to get back. Like I would be freaking out.
Well, they run through some options. Like I think early on, there's pressure put onto Anthony Heald's character to get the ship up and running again because they figure out very quickly. Treat Williams like figures it out in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, you're the inside guy.
Yeah.
They figure out that he was the one that was responsible for shutting down the ship, and they want him to get it started up again so they can get moving and get out of there. He tells them they can't be done. And then we also have the dilemma of we need to get the parts back to Treat Williams' ship, so it still needs to be fixed.
That's the number one thing is we have to get those parts.
Yeah. So there's a backpack that keeps changing hands between Treat Williams and Benny that houses the parts.
Benny should be like James Francis Ryan. He should be like attached to somebody's hip and like you don't fucking move.
Yeah, it's like even if we get to the ship, if we don't have these parts and we don't have you, nobody goes home.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think at this point is when we take up residence in the kitchen for a little bit.
Yes, because this is where Jason Fleming gets it, and this is one of my favorite
Well, how about you paint a picture for us?
Okay, so Jason Fleming never plays a likable character in a movie.
It's a rule.
Just like in this movie. He's a little likable.
No, his agent probably demands it. It's like, so we're not going to be asked to like James, are we?
He's that little...
He doesn't like to be liked.
He's that little shit from hell. He's the driver for Jack the Ripper in that movie.
I completely blacked that movie out, except for Ian Holm doing his thing, because he's cool. You know?
I was just saying he's usually the best part of whatever stupid movie he's in.
Yeah, no joke, man.
Yeah. But yes, so they're all sitting around, and Fleming is already shot at the thing at this point. Like, he thinks that he's like, oh, you just gotta shoot at it, that bitch will go away. And he's freaking out, and he's having like the game over, man, game fucking over. He's having the Bill Paxton meltdown.
He's having a moment.
He's not having this right now.
Yeah,
and
he's had enough. And by the way, I think this is after Mason blows himself up.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
His friends are... He's basically watching all of his friends die or disappear. They actually think that... they think Benny killed one of them, and then at one point... he just... So much is happening so fast that it's just too much.
He's losing his shit. This is a trope of any slightly military-themed movie. Somebody has to lose their shit. There has to be a chicken shit in the group.
Michael Biehn in The Abyss.
In The Abyss, and... what's his face from Platoon? John C. McGinley.
Oh, yeah. He's annoying in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, him hiding in the foxhole.
Then they make him go right back out again.
Yep. I mean, that's good script writing right there. That's what you want to see happen to that guy.
There's one scene where he looks like he was doing coke with Charlie Sheen all night, because he looks just like his eyes are bloodshot. And he just looks like he
looks like grim death in that scene.
He looks really bad, and he looks like I finally get to go. He's like, all right, saddle up. You're going back out. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he used that to his advantage. But yeah, so I don't remember exactly what's happening, but he's kind of still rambling and kind of half crying.
Yeah. He does that well.
As I said, from hell, that's what made me think of it, because he's, oh, I'm not a strong chap like you, sir. I'm not strong. He's kind of crying because he's with a fucking serial killer. He is talking, and he kind of has that, if you've seen City Slickers, he has that, the man is a lunatic. He's behind me, isn't he? Everyone's just staring at this thing. Yeah. And I like it in movies where they're just like, oh.
Yeah, everybody's inching away from him.
And he knows, he's like, what are you looking at?
And he's like, I know I'm going to die.
What are you looking at? Boom! They just fucking take him.
No.
Wait.
No, actually, it takes 2 shots. It takes 2 rounds. He gets to survive 1 round.
Go through it.
You're giving me a look.
Go through it again.
A disbelieving look.
I'm thinking of somebody else getting yanked right up. I'm thinking of, I think it's the Aussie. I think it's what I'm thinking
So what happens to our good British felon is he actually whips his gun over his shoulder and then spins around and dumps a few rounds into this tentacle beast that's behind him, and it retreats back into the ceiling. And then everybody takes off, leaving him behind, and he starts like hollering after this thing, like taunting it, like you were describing, and it comes from behind again, from a different angle. There we go. So it's kind of clunky. Like I think it would have been better if it just yanked him.
Just yanked him straight up.
But yeah, he gets a moment of hubris before it yanks him.
That's what I'm mixing up. So yes,
and then we get a scene that's like reminiscent of the T-Rex whipping that lawyer back and forth. Yeah, from the first Jurassic Park.
It's one of the. Is it kind of like, you remember when Sam Jackson gets it in Deep Blue Sea? Spoilers. But it goes from him talking to, oh my god, that's CGI. That's almost like a CGI dummy. It's not even a dummy.
No, I'm pretty sure the flesh tone on that dummy for sure Sam Jackson didn't even match him.
I don't think it has eyes. I think its arms and legs are wiggling a little bit, and it
looks like
face.
A brown test dummy, like a crash test dummy.
It's a crash test dummy. Like, it doesn't even have eyes.
Yeah.
That's what is that kind of how I went with this one too? Like,
kind of, except I think he goes in head first, so you just get to see his legs.
That's smart. That's wicked smart.
And then it sucks him down.
I know from I was a bit of a drawer growing up, and I had no problem with drawing bodies, torsos, legs, stuff like that. I could never get faces, and
I'm the same way actually.
It's wicked smart to have. They're like, all right, well, this guy's gonna be sucked up. We'll cover his fucking face because we don't have to worry about that. You can do arms and legs all fucking day.
Oh yeah.
That's easy.
No,
that's pretty smart.
I mean, especially if you're working on a budget.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody takes off again. The cast is narrowing down. Like I said, Mason actually gets snatched when they're taking a little swim.
Yeah, they're doing the swim.
They're doing the swim thing. Very reminiscent of Alien Resurrection, actually. Which bears a lot of similarities to this movie in tone.
I was gonna say the Abyss, because that's a really big part of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just water in general is a huge theme in that movie.
Yeah. I actually rewatched that. Deep Blue Sea just got another tally because that definitely happens in Deep Blue Sea.
We're almost up to that slash. We're getting up to 5 now.
Seriously.
So yeah, we're all on the run again, and our cast is whittling down to nothing.
Yes, very much.
Is this when Wes Studi caps Benny in the leg?
Okay, yes. This is good. So, like you'd said before, Wes Studi and Benny have like a moment where they, like, Studi does not want, he hates everybody that's not on his team, and
his team's basically gone.
They're pretty much gone, and he has that moment with him. Even as his team is getting picked off, he puts his foot on the gun. He's like, and then boom, boom, boom. Okay, do it, man. Like, start shooting. So now Benny kind of feels like there's this bond, and he starts talking to him. And Wes Studi, like we've said before, has the stone face.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of standing there, and he looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell what it is. He's being eaten, kind of halfway.
It's kind of an interesting scene.
Yeah, because he's not really being eaten. He's kind of just being like kind of gnawed on a little bit.
Yeah. So he's up to his waist in monster. Yeah. So it has its mandibles wrapped around him. It's just kind of like poking at him.
Yeah.
It's not trying to actively swallow him, but it's not letting go, and he's obviously in a lot of pain. He's not able to speak.
He cannot speak,
Yeah, he's just kind of like jiggling around, like trying to keep it together. And, I mean, this is me just like making a huge leap in logic, but maybe him trying to keep still is what's keeping it from eating him or something.
That's actually, I think that's what it is that he's not moving.
Yeah.
And
so it's like, is it alive? Is it food? Or is it just something?
And then Jim Carrey shooting cotton balls at his face.
Jesus.
Relax your shoulders. 90s comedy number 3.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it should be mentioned that directly preceding this scene was when we got the grand reveal of the rest of the corpses on the ship at the bow.
Yeah.
There's some really stupid shenanigans, like stupid stuff that it's a very small thing, but actually kind of hurts a little bit. The thing starts closing doors.
Yeah, that's...
Like doors with a latch.
You know...
I'm sorry, it's a tentacle monster. It shouldn't be able to do that.
I know that you have logistics problems with movies.
I do.
And
I'm sorry.
I like one of the reasons why we recommend the movies that we do to each other is because we have a similar way of looking through movies, but we also focus on entirely different things.
Yeah, I nitpick.
He nitpicks. He looks at the logistics. I'm actually more visually motivated. I kind of just want to see the movie. I can kind of give a shit less. The doors closing, I do notice it. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. This thing can't shut doors.
There's some mention offhand of they're funneling us towards the bow of the ship. It's like, by closing doors that have a rotating latch? Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, right, this is happening, but I really don't care.
Opposable thumbs it does not have.
I just want to see it kill more people.
Yeah.
That's all I really give a shit about at this point. That's what I'm signed up for.
If it closing doors results in more kills, sure.
If I'm gonna laugh a little bit more, maybe it's the horror comedy. It's just like I'm either want to laugh or I want to see somebody.
And they do a good job of spelling that out to you that this is a silly movie. It's not meant to scare you at all, really.
That's why I just laughed at the welding part. I'm like, okay, that's completely. I want to find some more examples of this in movies where they got the writing so blatantly wrong. Like to just somebody that works in that field is like, okay, that's absolute bullshit.
Well, I have another one of those that I'll remember that because that was a detail I just remembered on the spot. So we get to the bow of the ship.
We have to get back to the death the Benny. And,
we're getting there. We're circling back.
Oh, we're circling back. Okay. I thought you skipped
directly
over that.
Preceding that, we get to the bow of the ship.
Okay.
Is filled with corpses, and it's a lovely miniature set that you can obviously tell is a miniature. Yeah. And it gets flooded with seawater, which causes a big tidal wave, which splits up the group. Mm-hmm. So we're down to Famke and Treat, who've been flirting the whole time. It's lovely.
She's flirting. He's just really playing it cool.
Well, he's just trying to hide his boner. He's got one hand in his pocket at all times.
He knows.
And he's kind of like angled away too. Like he's using the shadows.
He is channeling his Harrison Ford right now. Like, yeah.
Except he's like a half foot shorter.
No, he knows what he's doing in his head. He's like, he's a huge Harrison. Like, not the actor, the character himself is like, he loves Harrison Ford movies. He thinks of himself as a Han Solo.
I call him the cool uncle because a lot of his dialogue is very canned and very like. I think he even uses the expression "Jeez Louise."
He says "Jeez Louise."
Either that or it's like "Jesus Christ, lady."
I think
give a guy a heart attack. It's like. That is
Jeez Louise. I think the only other person that says that is like Hugh Grant. I think that he's the only.
He uses a lot of expressions like that, like golly jeez, like you can tell he's got church mouth or something. But yeah, the group splits up when we get Wes, Studi, and Benny.
Yeah,
and Treat and Famke, and Wes and Benny they're running away from the monster. It's chasing them, and at some point. Benny asks Wes, like, how do we slow it down? He's like, the only way to slow him down is to feed him. And then Benny says, what do we feed him? And Wes Studi caps him in the thigh.
I knew that was coming as soon as he said it. I'm like, he's going to shoot you.
Yeah, so he caps him in the thigh, and both of them miraculously escape from the monster. And then we cut back to them, and it comes to the scene that you were describing. Where Wes Studi is pinned by this thing, and Benny walks into the room and takes him a little while to realize what's happening.
It's like if Robert Shaw just stopped halfway from being eaten. It just kind of stopped for a minute. He's just like, hey, you little short fuck. Give me my shotgun.
Yeah. Hooper! It's like half his dialogue.
I love that they hated each other on that set.
It's a beautiful relationship.
Because it really translates well into the movie.
I mean, I could talk all day about Jaws. But anyway,
we digress.
Benny finds a handgun in the room.
And like a sweetheart. Like just a nice guy. He's like, dude, you are fucked.
Yeah, he knows Wes Studi's not getting out of this. And it's not going to be pretty for him.
He gives him... Now, they don't tell you how many bullets are in the gun, I don't think. But I think he knows that there's one. He doesn't even know.
No, he just gives him the gun.
He's like, he's actually going to run away with the gun, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to give this guy a gun.
I'm going to give him an out.
So he can shoot himself in the head.
Do what Mason did.
Wes Studi. Like an asshole. Doesn't even think about it. As Benny's walking away, he shoots at him.
He misses.
And he misses. And then I think he tries to shoot himself, and then it does not click.
Yeah.
He deserved that. Even Benny's like, what the
he flips at him and he runs away. And then immediately after that, Wes Studi decides, oh, well, I didn't get to take him down, but I'm going to kill myself.
Nope.
And then he puts the gun to his temple, pulls the trigger, no bullets.
Yeah.
And then we get a really cool shot of him, like, being raised up by the thing, and it jams its mandibles into his, like, upper torso. And it's pretty grisly. He's acting.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, going, wah!
Yeah, we finally get to see him move his face.
But logistical error. The slide didn't lock on the pistol.
Oh, it did not. I mean, these are future guns.
No, it's a normal handgun.
Was it like a 9mm?
It's a normal 9mm handgun, and he exhausted his ammunition. You would expect the slide to lock.
Yeah.
Which would tell him there's no bullets.
But
for effect, it's better if all they had to do was make it a revolver.
Yeah.
All they had to do was make it a revolver.
But there's no reason that a team of mercenaries would have a fucking 6-shooter. Like, there's no way.
One of the passengers,
hang on. There's just no reason for that.
It's like, I gotta wrangle 300 people. I better bring my 6-shooter.
Boom, 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 boom.
Give me a minute.
Oh,
shit, I dropped it.
Yeah, just dropping it. Yeah, there's no reason it would work. He's reloading. I can hear him reloading it.
The monster's just like taking its time. It's like, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6. Okay, let's do it.
I think that's 6, yeah.
But yeah, just a funny little thing that would have robbed that scene of all its drama.
Yeah.
So now we're down to the principals. We got Anthony Heald, who has taken off. Yeah, he tried to dick them. He locked some doors behind him. He did the thing, you know.
He did the Paul Rubin in Aliens. He's just like these, because they know the truth, and he's like, I can't be having
Paul Reiser.
Paul Rubin.
Pee Wee Herman in Aliens.
No, he was not in Aliens.
Oh, that would have been great though.
Paul Reiser. That was. I don't even watch Pee Wee Herman, so I don't know why he was in my head.
Well, it would have been cool if there was like a secret password in Aliens, and then you just hear or a talking couch on the dropship or something. Or hell, bring Cowboy Curtis or John B. the Genie or something.
Paul Reiser.
Burke.
Move.
Let's just call him Burke.
Burke.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a pretty good Ripley impression.
It was not bad. It's all about the mouth movement, because she like pecks her words out, kind of. Yeah. She got the lower lip that kind of comes out a bit.
I love Sigourney Weaver in those movies.
Oh, she's great.
So yes,
he's the Burke. That's part of why Aliens is what I think of when I think of this movie. He is very much the Burke.
He is the Burke.
The Burke.
So I wrote down as we are moving. So we very clearly see what's going to happen next in the movie, because Famke gets separated from Treat Williams, and I couldn't help but notice that there's a very deliberate, specific shot. She's looking around this flooded. It's similar to. It looks like kind of like a hangar bay. It's below level, but it's not all the way down, and it is flooded. But it's not. It's flooded to the point where it's a part of the ship that it doesn't really matter.
It's actually the machine shop set, just with a few things shuffled around. Yeah. Like, no joke.
Yeah. And then I just see she looks around and she looks at a jet ski with a number 3 on it. I'm like, Now, okay, so we have to talk about the island. So now
An
there's
island! To quote Anthony Hill. An island!
So there's an island. There's an island in sight. So that's why he's just like, fuck them.
Yeah, he sees an escape, and he knows that there's a boat outside.
Yes.
And he knows that there's jet skis.
As soon as I saw the number 3 jet ski, I'm like, that's going to the island. That's 100%. That's what happens next.
Well, you brought up...
I didn't even think... I brought the DVD case over because as I was watching, I'm like, oh yeah. I looked up the movie. I was looking up stuff afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a fucking jet ski on the front. Like, yeah, you just see immediately like, okay,
it's very prominently featured on the cover. It's Treat Williams, and well, they're both kind of fuzzy. I don't know if that's
very
Treat
fuzzy.
Williams.
It doesn't.
That's definitely her, but I don't know if that's him.
That I don't know who that is. Really,
It's just man.
It looks kind of creepy.
Yeah, his eyes are completely shadowed.
That's close enough to Famke, but I wouldn't be able to pick her right out. Like,
yeah.
You told me somebody's name, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the international cover for the movie is actually like a reptilian-looking eyeball underwater. It's kind of creepy.
Oh,
it's a pretty cool illustration, but yeah. So the last act of this movie involves a mad dash back to the boat, which Benny has not brought the parts. They actually lost the parts.
Correct.
So now taking the ship back is out of our grasp.
We're going with
jet skis.
We're going with jet skis.
Yeah, we're going jet skiing. So Benny, though, is told to repair the ship just enough so that it can do essentially just a loop to come back to the cruise ship. Mm-hmm. And Treat Williams rigs up a torpedo on the exterior of his ship because he intends to crash it into the cruise ship.
Correct.
Anthony Heald and Famke Janssen are going for the jet ski. But I believe...
He has a flare gun.
Yeah, he got himself a flare gun. A double-barreled one at that.
I've never seen a
double-barrel flare gun, especially a super accurate one, too.
Never seen it.
It's almost as if it doesn't exist.
It's almost as if it doesn't exist. That's a good way to put it.
But yeah, so now we have the two parties like fighting over this jet ski while Benny is on the ship rigging it up to turn around.
Again, Benny has not put it together that Layla is not there.
No. He learns.
He does.
No,
but
he comes in the room.
It takes a while.
And Jerry Goldsmith's music starts playing the sad variation of the theme, which is fucking awesome. But it's the sad music. And Treat Williams is like, I don't think she made it.
She didn't make it.
And Benny's like, oh man, I better. And he's like, you should get to work, Benny. It's like you got like 10 seconds to emote here. This movie's like, we're getting to the climax, Benny. Let's piece it together. Thing we missed that's actually very important. Directly preceding this is the grand reveal of the actual creature.
Yes.
We learn at this point in the film, during the chase. So Anthony Heald corners Famke Janssen with his flare gun.
Yes, double barrel.
They're fighting over the keys to the jet ski. Treat Williams jumps back onto the cruise ship because he was working on the ship with Benny for a little while. And he comes with his shotgun, very, very Hicks-like from Aliens. Fucking badass. He even does the casual, like...
I caught that, yeah.
Yeah, the very casual... Keep this one for close encounters. He comes back on the cruise ship like a boss, and he scares off Anthony Heald. He doesn't shoot him for some reason. I mean, it's good because his character... He's a nice guy.
He's too nice.
He's such a nice guy.
So nice.
He wouldn't shoot him, man.
He wouldn't shoot him.
I mean, he'd punch him, but he wouldn't shoot him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's had one or two bar scuffles, but that's just because he's just too cool for school.
Well, it's probably because there was a lady in the room that was like offended or something.
Do you think he thinks of himself as like Fonzie, like in his head?
With that jacket?
Yeah.
Because with that stature?
That was actually...
He's not a big guy.
No, he's not a big dude.
And Famke Janssen's a very tall woman, so it's kind of fun, actually. Because it's like you don't see that too often in movies.
Actually, Henry Winkler, when he was approached to play Fonzie on Happy Days, they're like, why don't you play a greaser? And he's like, okay, I'm not going to chew gum, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes, and I'm not going to curse or whatever.
So yeah, maybe they're kindred spirits.
I think he thinks of himself as a
he's
a
like,
Fonzie.
Hey, I got a family. I got a wife, let's keep it clean, guys.
I got 2 baby girls back home.
Yeah, I got 2 baby girls that are going to watch this movie. I will not have them hear their father swear.
Actually, no, he's got a son that plays baseball.
I will not have them hear their father take the Lord's name in vain.
He has a boy that plays baseball.
I will fight your octopus monster, but we will keep it clean. You understand me, mister?
You watch your damn mouth.
No, not damn. Gosh darn.
You watch your darn mouth.
You watch your GD mouth. So yeah.
Anyway, so
we get our final grand reveal of the monster.
Yes.
After Anthony Heald is taken off.
now this is exactly what I was expecting as far as the graphics, because the graphics weren't
It's 1998.
It's 1998. The graphics are pretty decent for the arms, but now we're gonna get the big reveal. Kind of reminded me of the big reveal of the Bug in Men in Black, like that just initial where he's like moving. Yeah, when he's actually expanding, not when you actually get him.
Oh yeah, it's a similar reveal. I think ILM worked on the same movie, so I wouldn't be surprised. You see this a lot with animators; they have like little things that they do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this thing comes up like the top of its head is looking down, so you see the top of its head, and then it rears up. Mm-hmm. So it just looks like a bulbous mass to begin with, and then the face is revealed.
The Cthulhu Kraken, yes.
Very apt description. Cthulhu Kraken, I think, is a good description. Toothy Cthulhu Kraken.
Toothy Cthulhu Kraken, yes.
Yeah, and it has blue eyes. So it's Aryan.
Oh, blue eyes.
But yeah, so this thing... so basically we learned that all the other things that we've been seeing throughout the movie are just appendages.
Yes.
This is the quote-unquote core. This is the actual thing.
Yeah.
And the rest of that is just limbs.
Yeah.
So this thing... so the interactions between it and Treat Williams are a little weird because it... Again, logistics don't make any sense. So instead of just snatching him up and swallowing him like you would expect it to...
Like a normal Bond villain would do.
Yeah, it wraps him up with the tentacles. This is the only time we've ever seen this happen in the movie. So instead of using its grabbers, like the mouth things, to just swallow him or grab him, it actually just like encircles him and lifts him up like Anaconda. Yes.
I feel like the creature is just kind of working off of his energy. You know, he puts off a good energy.
So this guy seems really cool.
He seems
we
really
should have
cool.
a talk.
And maybe he should savor this. Like he should. This guy's really This guy's a really nice guy, as opposed to those pieces of shit that I killed earlier. Yeah. And, I mean, say what you will about Layla. She's really, really pretty. She's kind of screechy. She yells.
Yeah, she does a lot of hollering, a lot of yelling, a lot of nagging.
She's pretty loud. Like she had a scream on her. Like
it's just like, shut the fuck up!
Like, oh my god!
Get in my belly! Shut up!
Please be quiet.
No, I was probably watching her welding technique and was just rolling its eyes and just saying,
okay,
she has got to go.
She's throwing. This is not doing
you're
anything.
doing it wrong. I'm doing us all a favor. Just stop it right now.
You are gonna drown in this thing.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna drown anyway. You may as well be digested alive. It's the same difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, this thing hoists Treat Williams up off the ground. He tries to fight free. Famke does nothing.
Like I said,
she just stands there, and this thing. Again, a little bit of Jurassic Park here. It holds him up to its eyeball so it can mean mug him. Oh, yeah. For no real reason. I mean, everybody knows that shot in Jurassic Park where the pupil dilates.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot.
Iconic.
Yeah. This thing is not quite as beautiful. But so he unholsters his shotgun. And he says, "What are you looking at?" Because, you know, that's what
you do when you're really nice. You actually ask.
Yeah, that's what nice guys say instead of dropping F-bombs, because that's just not kosher.
Yeah, no.
And so he blows out its eyeball with the shotgun, and it's a cool effect actually. It's like orange goop everywhere.
Deep blue sea. Jesus.
And then instead of like seizing up and squeezing him, it like loosens up and it drops him, and then he pumps some more rounds into the rest of its arms, and he and Famke take off. They get on the jet ski, and we get a pretty kick-ass action scene where they're running away from the tentacles.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that I think the best animated CGI in the movie are the like masses of tentacles moving very quickly.
When you add water into it,
yeah, there's a lot of noise, a lot of effects, like a lot of particle effects and stuff going on. Just the motion blur alone covers up a lot of the rattiness of the modeling and stuff.
I think that's why I like the Kraken scenes in that second Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can hide the actual construction of the monster behind. Like in traditional like prosthetic effects and stuff, you use shadows.
Yeah.
You use lighting. In CGI, you use blurs and like things to occlude the image a little bit. So like when the like masses of tentacles are whipping around and like gnashing their mandibles at them, I think it actually looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. So we get a neat action scene where he's doing the thing where he's like putting the shotgun on his shoulder and asking her to cock it for him so he can continue driving without looking back. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little action scene with great fucking music. I can't emphasize that enough. I really love the score to this movie. And yeah, Anthony Heald in the meantime. Do you remember what's happening to him?
I do not remember what happens to him.
Okay, well, he gets a good comeuppance. It involves an explosion, which I dislike, but the lead up to it's very good. Mm-hmm. I think Wes Studi gets the most brutal death in the whole movie.
He had it coming.
Yeah, he did. Anthony Heald, though, had it coming more. And what happens to him is that during all this, with the monster chasing our heroes, he found Treat Williams' boat. And he sees it taking off. Yes. Little does he know.
Oh,
that,
yes. Okay.
Yes. You want to take over?
So, yes. I'm trying to think of another movie where I've seen something like this. I'm thinking... I think I know what it is now. The breaking... So, he jumps off of...
Does the phrase compound fracture put any images in your mind?
I'm thinking of Will Ferrell in one of the Austin Powers movies. He breaks his leg. So he jumps onto this boat and his leg just it comes right out. Like the bone is basically sticking out of the skin.
It's winking at him.
And yeah, it's awful that this has happened to me.
I'm actually not dead.
I'm actually not dead.
It's just very badly burned.
Very bad. The wound is starting to smell like almonds.
The wound is starting to smell like almonds.
You know what's funny is I didn't even think he was that funny when I was a kid. Totally changed when I got to my teens. But yeah, so I know that he breaks his leg and he's in agony, obvious.
No, he is crying like a little boy.
Yeah, it's not good. But what happens to him now?
So what happened is the reason he jumped onto Treat Williams' boat,
because he thinks it's getting away.
Yeah, he thinks they're pulling out, they're leaving. So he's in a hurry to get down there. There's actually like a pulley that he's trying to lower himself down onto, but it's in a hurry, so he has to jump, which he does, and yeah, he breaks his leg.
I'll try
then some.
I'll try the other leg. Yeah, but no, neither one of those are working.
As it so happens, Treat Williams and Benny both rigged up the boat to be on autopilot and just do a loop and come right back to the cruise ship with the torpedo sticking out.
Bam!
So yeah, Anthony Heald is in the driver's seat and he's struggling with the controls, and it's such a funny little detail, but it makes it all the better as they do the "I lost my glasses." To be a glassed individual in a horror film, you are so fucked.
That's why I don't wear... I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I've adapted my eyes to live in a world without them. So if I...
Good on you,
when
man.
Shit hits the fan, when there's zombies out there, my depth perception is off, but not as off as yours is going to be when you lose your glasses.
Yeah, I wear glasses, by the way.
I don't legit think that's going to happen.
I don't know if it's a trope anymore, but back in the day, if you had glasses and there was a body count in your movie, you were going to lose... Yes? You are going to lose those glasses. Yeah. You are going to be completely worthless without them, and you will die because of it.
Goonies is a little bit softer on that.
Fucking Dennis Nedry, Jurassic Park. Man.
Oh yeah, yeah. He can.
He lost his glasses right before he went.
He thought he could afford more. He probably could have.
Yeah, I can afford more glasses. But yeah, he loses his glasses when he breaks his leg. So when he's trying to get the boat to switch to manual controls, there's like a single POV shot.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Of him looking at the monitors and it being blurry.
I didn't catch that.
It's like this long, but it's so beautiful because you can see him squinting. It's like, if only he had his glasses, he could have turned the boat around. But no, he doesn't. And then the ship hits the cruise ship and just in time for our heroes to go off a ramp out the ship on the jet ski.
Absolutely.
It's, the classic heroes escape from a fiery explosion. Cruise ship goes up.
This is a legit stunt here, too.
Yeah, they even show an exterior of them coming out off the ramp and in midair. There's some good jet ski stunts.
Yeah.
Do a lot of hard, 180s. They're kind of cool looking.
What do you got? a Treat Williams stunt double, and then I think Famke Jensen's like 6 foot, so some dude in a wig probably. Like,
Oh yeah, it's probably Kevin Nash.
Oh, that's not fair.
But yeah, they take off and they get to an island.
Yes. And I'll let you if you want to read my last note that I have.
By the way, Benny is alive.
Yeah, Benny did survive, thank God.
Miraculously. He gets lost in the fold. They think he's dead up to this point, but no, he lived.
He dies in the next 2 movies I see him in, but he definitely survives this one. So at the end of this movie, so all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I love me some Treat Williams. He's just
you're a true believer.
He's just so affable. Like
he really is. I know him mostly for the Substitute sequels.
Oh really?
Like
is he bad? Is he?
No, he's a good guy.
Okay.
He plays Tom Berenger's like equivalent. So minus a foot in height and like way more charm.
I was gonna say, because isn't he like a sociopath in that movie?
No. He's a mercenary. There's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a difference.
No, I know him for those because they were on like TBS like all the fucking time, and I love those movies.
Berenger's Platoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically like take him from Major League, so the catcher from Major League.
I've never seen Major League.
Okay, well he's very affable in that actually. Gotcha. He's not a sociopath like in
Really?
Platoon. Yeah.
Huh. I think I might have to watch that.
Think more him in Inception.
Okay.
Than Platoon.
Okay.
He's playing a substitute teacher who's also a mercenary. So he's kind of a cool guy.
Okay.
And he's kind of funny. He's kind of charming. But Treat Williams takes over the role in the sequels, the direct-to-video sequels.
Gotcha.
One of which features a fist fight between him and Brian Derek Wong.
I don't know who that is.
Look him up. He's worth noting.
Gotcha.
He was in Jurassic Park, by the way.
Oh,
Dr. Wu.
Oh, BD Wong.
Yeah, BD Wong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
The two of them get to throw down. It's kind of cool.
He's in Law and Order. One of the Law and Orders.
But yeah, also he plays the villain in The Phantom, and he is having a grand old time in that.
Is that the Billy Zane one? Because there's Phantoms, which is
awful. No.
What is that movie about?
That came out around the same time as Deep Rising, actually.
Jesus Christ.
I actually got those two confused when I was a kid. Because I remember the first time I was going to watch Deep Rising, I was getting the commercials for them mixed up.
Yeah.
Because they both featured like tentacles and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's going to suck. And then I watched Deep Rising. I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I saw Phantoms, and I was like, oh, this is garbage.
I could not tell you a single thing about that movie. I have no idea what happened in that movie.
It has a very clever concept, but that's all.
Okay.
It's like a Dean Koontz story, I think.
And they just completely fucked
Dean Koontz was like... So we have Stephen King, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dean Koontz is like...
He's the Stallone to the Schwarzenegger.
Kinda. Like Michael Crichton, thanks to Jurassic Park and a few other things.
Every good sci-fi movie from the 90s.
Yeah, even Rising Sun was him. So we were doing this thing where we were taking like thriller novelists and adapting their works to film, and Stephen King made everyone very rich. Michael Crichton made...
I think Michael Crichton did way better. I think his movies were much better. I
don't know. Timeline is...
I mean, honestly, the only... Misery and The Shining, not in that order. The Shining, but that was Kubrick.
Misery's great, man.
Misery's great, but The Shining is good because of Kubrick.
Yeah. No, I mean, Stephen King is the lord of that. Like, he owns that realm, but Dean Koontz was kind of off to the side. Mm-hmm. His movies were not very high profile. Phantoms was like one of the few that got a theatrical release.
That got a theatrical yeah, it did.
It did. I mean, it had the Scream cover.
That was after Armageddon.
And any movie that had the Scream cover art.
That was after Armageddon, correct?
I think right before.
Are you sure?
I think 98 was Armageddon, and if I remember right, Deep Rising and Phantoms were right around the same time.
I think Armageddon was 90. I think it might have been before that.
Well, we've had this happen before.
Yeah, we have.
But yeah, Treat Williams was the villain in The Phantom, and he's got his little like Errol Flynn mustache, and he in a boardroom he throws an African spear through a dude.
Is it worth watching?
No. Okay. Although, I mean, I love Billy Zane's eyebrow acting. Mm. I mean, his entire acting ability is based on his ability to throw up those eyebrows on command. It's beautiful. I love me some Billy Zane. And I love me some Treat Williams. So I have fun with it. You might not.
The very last note, if you want to take the very last scene from the movie is when I'm watching him, like, King Kong?
Yeah, the end of the movie is a little confusing. What I got from it is that it's just a very broad joke. Because basically, Famke Janssen and Treat Williams wash up on the island. An island! And it turns out that the jet ski is broken, so they're trapped on the island. They have a very cute little exchange where Treat Williams says, "Well, I guess we're trapped on this island," and then she kisses him, and then she walks off, and he goes, "Well, I guess we're trapped on this island." It's like, way to go, brother!
And you know it's not a bad thing for him to say, because you know he's just gonna be the nicest.
He's gonna be the most respectful man.
My goodness,
he's going to bring her so many coconuts.
He's just
in the morning. He's gonna make her a coconut omelet.
She's really gonna have the best time. Like
she's going to be treated very well.
They're gonna fall in love after that. Yes. It's just no doubt.
No, he'll save it for marriage, though. He will save it for marriage.
I would love it if they could probably do it now. Just pick up where you left off and do a
sequel?
A sequel with King
Kong. Oh my
god,
that would be so awesome. Because that would be so fucking awesome.
I could totally watch all, like, the three of them are like, they've been living on the island for years, like no one got them.
I would want to see Treat Williams now. I would want to see Famke Janssen now.
Except, could they be dinosaurs? Can you do dinosaurs now? I don't know if anybody can do dinosaurs.
I think dinosaurs are kind of cornered.
I think it's like...
that market is just...
You can't touch it. I mean, they did Land of the Lost remake with Will Ferrell, which was pretty funny. There's a dinosaur in there, but it's not a dinosaur movie.
Yeah, no, dinosaur movies are on lock. Like, Universal owns dinosaurs, man. Sorry.
I think with Benny, Famke, and Treat.
Yeah, so the end reveal of this movie is that they're pretty okay. Like, everybody's in high spirits. They're all on the island. Benny comes from the tide. They're happy to see him, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's third person. Yeah.
Treat Williams looks a little put out, but he's
like, dude, that was gonna happen.
That was gonna happen. I've been waiting 48 years for this.
I'm gonna lose my virginity
on this island.
Hey, are you an ordained minister? Because I can't have sex out of wedlock.
He was probably like weaving a grass ring, like just like, I'm gonna give it to her, and then we're gonna, and then it's all gonna come together tonight.
I like it better that he's a virgin. Like, he's literally saving himself for marriage, but because of his Han Solo ways, he's never been able to like have a long-term relationship with a lady.
He's too much of a dude to hang on to it long enough to get there anyway.
But he's just a hardcore religious man that he can't do it out of wedlock, or maybe just classic values.
I don't think it's religious. I think he's just a classy guy. He's just like, no, this is how my dad did it. This is how Grandpa did it. This is how I will do it.
And he's like, Benny, can you? You're a ship captain. You're the captain now. You're the captain now. You can officiate this wedding.
Yeah. So the moment is ruined, however, by a loud roar of some sort, and they turn around and there's jungle behind them, and the camera continues to pull back, and there's something gigantic thrashing trees up into the air, coming towards them, and the camera continues to pull back, and even reveals like an active flowing volcano. So what I got from that is that they landed on Shit Island, and that's the end.
Yeah.
And it just snaps to credits and awesome music, because Jerry Goldsmith. And what Kyle is proposing, though, is what if we came back to the world of Deep Rising?
I'm totally fine with him doing it.
And what if we actually showed this island in detail?
I mean...
Or what if we carry on from Kong Skull Island?
How do you make this movie without ripping off King Kong or Jurassic Park?
I don't think you can.
Well, because King Kong has dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park makes the King Kong joke. King Kong has been remade, and then Kong Skull Island, which is I really like to call it. Kong Skull Island.
It may as well be Skull Island. Like
that's exactly
like what if like the opposite end of the island is where Sam Jackson and John Goodman are? It's just like they're just on opposite ends of the same island.
Yeah,
and there's even an octopus in Kong Skull Island, a giant octopus.
Fuck,
you forgot that?
Yeah,
he eats it. He eats that octopus. He eats that taco.
I forgot. I completely forgot about that.
It's great. It's like a nod to, I can't remember if it was in the script for the original King Kong, but I think there was supposed to be an octopus monster.
Maybe that's what Deep Rising actually was like King Kong is the main monster in King Kong, obviously. But there are other monsters like just around. So maybe that's where like Jurassic Park came from. Like we got to do. This is what was happening with the dinosaurs, or they like if there was actually supposed to be an octopus in the original King Kong. Maybe this is like the story.
What if the Deep Rising monster was like evicted from Skull Island, where Kong just like beat his ass and threw him out into the ocean? It's like, get off my lawn!
That would be pretty cool.
And then it's like, well, I guess there's a cruise ship. I haven't eaten in a few days, and then it attacks this cruise ship just because Kong is an asshole and like kicked it out of its burrow or whatever.
I think we go dinosaurs with it. I think that it's a giant dinosaur.
Giant dinosaur.
Oh man, we've
been talking for a while,
yes,
so
we have.
I guess it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Kyle got to catch up on some cinema.
Yes.
You said you had an idea of what was up next.
I've got a few choices, and I think I'll see if you have seen any of these. That we are definitely not. We're picking movies that we consider good, and whether you agree or not, you should probably still watch them. There's a few movies. Go ahead.
That's the one.
Spinal Tap?
No, Heathers.
Oh, Heathers. Okay.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Okay. I thought maybe you hadn't seen World's Greatest Dad or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I haven't seen Lock, Stock, and Heathers.
Okay,
So
so
if you wanna...
since I think one of the things that's happening with this is we're kind of thinking of an actor or another movie that the other one hasn't seen. I'm like, oh, maybe you should watch that.
Yeah.
I think that Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, because this is from the same decade. It's from the 90s. I think it's 98 or 99.
Something I forgot to mention about Deep Rising is there is an inordinate number of guns, which Stephen Sommers seems to have a thing for, and I feel like the 90s was maybe the biggest decade in film history of people pointing guns at each other.
Okay.
It's like you couldn't have a movie without people putting guns in each other. Like the Mexican standoff was just in every movie. Like My Best Friend's Wedding, I'm sure there was a Mexican standoff in that movie. Possible. Or There's Something About Mary, I'm sure there was a Mexican standoff in there. You probably just don't remember it.
There is a Mexican standoff in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I should hope so, based on that fucking title.
So yeah, I think that's what Trevor's gonna have to catch up on for the next episode.
Okay. Well, I have not seen it, so we'll call that the next episode.
I think it's gonna bother you logistically.
Motherfuck.
Alrighty.
On that note, thanks for listening.
Yes.